UPMC Presbyterian Hospital in the medical intensive
The
care
journey
unit.
started 3 years ago,
Gentlemen,
September
Madeline
3rd, 2016, on warm, sunny skies here at John F. Wiley Stadium. The Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets hosted the Muskingum Muskies, where it came down to the final minutes, where Garrett Guthrie missed a 32-yard field goal hitting the left upright, where the Jackets were beaten by the Muskingum Muskies with a score of 17-16. 3 years later, these seniors will now take the field for their final time against Case Western Reserve here at Senior Day, at John F. Wiley Stadium. I'm Paul Zalakar. Joined alongside with me today is Mitch Montani. Welcome to Waynesburg University Sports Network presentation of Jacket football in their penultimate game of the regular season. The Jackets come in today with a record of 1-7, and they will be taking on W&J in their last game of the season. Case Western Reserve has a chance to clinch the PAC title with a win against Waynesburg University. If that is the case, that will be the third straight season that the D3 PAC champion was clinched against Waynesburg University, and would be the second time in a row here at John F. Wiley Stadium. A cold day for you today. 40 degrees temperature, some clouds along, and a little bit of sun peeking through. And we've celebrated not only the Waynesburg University football team, but also cheerleaders and other members of athletic programs. Mitch Montana, we've got two teams on both sides of the standings. What do you think is going to happen today in this cold matchup between two PAC teams that one has a lot going for them and the other is looking to next season?
Well, I'd say if you were a betting man, you'd probably pick Case Western. I think that kind of goes without explaining. Case is a team that is phenomenal. That's why they're ranked 15th in the country. They've not lost a game all year, and they've played a couple of tight ones, but for the most part it's been pure dominance for Case Western Reserve, a chance to win it all in terms of winning the PAC title today. And then you have a Jacket team that would be winless if it weren't for a 1-point win over Teal about a month back. So this has been an ongoing struggle for the Jackets, and today they're going to try to pull off in one of the biggest upset opportunities I think they've seen here in years. Case Western Reserve is a power in this conference this year, and they've kind of overtaken W&J when it comes to who's the top dog in this conference. And Case Western obviously is probably Waynesburg's toughest opponent on the schedule right now. So if the Jackets can pull this off today, Paul, will be talking about it to our children. So who knows? You never know. That's why you got to play the game, but odds are that Case Western's probably the favorite today.
17 seniors honored for Waynesburg University's football team. Among the likes Bobby Drishaber, Chad Walker, Dan Verhoset, Ty McAleese, Tyler Smith, Brennan Seafit, Sean Graham, Jarvis Cruz, kicker Mike Ryle. You've got a lot more seniors. Kevin McClellan, who's on the line, Cody Edwards, Dan Stiefvater,
Set to kick off for Waynesburg, number 32, Mike Ryle.
Tanner Six, and a few others.
Back deep for Case Western, number 22, Travis Johnston, and number 25, Don.
Spartans will get the ball first. Jackets taking on Case Western. Waynesburg, one win up to this point in PAC play. Here's the kickoff. It's deep. It is handled by the kick returner Travis Johnson, and he finds a seam along the near side of the field. He gets past all Jacket defenders, and he is gone. Travis Johnson takes it to the house on the kickoff return to start this ball game. 11 seconds in, and it's 6-0 Case Western Reserve over the Yellow Jackets here at John F. Wiley Stadium. Not messing around are the Spartans, and Travis Johnston doesn't mess around either. 6-0 Case Western to start this game. Mitch Montani, Paul Zalakar with you. We apologize in advance. We are dealing with technical issues and have been throughout the morning into the afternoon. We are now streaming on YouTube. That's probably how you're watching us right now if you are watching us, as the kicker, Robert Albrecht will knock it up and through. It's good. It's 7-0 Case Western Reserve, Paul. So we're on YouTube today, and we're
Early on in this one,
doing the best we can to bring you coverage of Yellow Jacket football for the final home game of the year.
I'll tell you what, being out at high school football last night into today, some whip-wheel action going on last night. Teams are looking to punch their way into the championship game at Heinz Field. And the conditions were cold last night. They're cold today. And I heard some of the players on the sidelines just complain about how their feet were cold, their hands were cold, and that affects the way that receivers can catch the ball, and then it also affects just the way that you need to stay warm and not get too cold, and you need to make sure that your blood's flowing and you don't want to get caught with cold feet and not able to move as fast as you'd like to. It also makes the hits a lot harder and the ground a lot harder too. So players are going to have to keep their endurance, keep their cool. It's a lot harder to breathe in colder conditions, so you want to make sure that the Jackets and the Spartans are also well hydrated and are in the best of shape to play in a cold terrain today.
Now it's going to be the Yellow Jackets who take control of the football after a kickoff return for a touchdown by Travis Johnston of Case Western to start this game. We're 11 seconds in, and it's already 7-0 Case Western. Waynesburg will take the kickoff here. It's Howard Metzger. Metzger past the 15 up toward the 20-yard line. He gets shoved out of bounds by a couple of kickoff team specialists for Case Western Reserve. Patrick Crossy was the one who pushed him out of bounds, and the Jackets will start the drive from their own 18.
Yeah, and Mitch, last week, going into this week, Travis Johnson was named PSC Special Teams Player of the Week. He had a big game in his game against Bethany last week, so proving that he was definitely worthy of that Special Teams Player of the Week, and he has a chance of retaining that for another week in the PAC 9th week of the season.
Jackets line up in the gun. Schrenker, the Jacket quarterback, will fake the handoff and fire it near side. It's caught by Nick Moretti. Moretti makes the catch past the 25-yard line and moves up toward the 30 before being wrapped up, and the Spartans stop his forward progress. That's going to be an 8 or 9 yard gain for the Jackets. Call it a 9-yard gain to the 28-yard line, and the Jackets go no huddle. We're still working to get the score bug up and running for you here on Woosen. Schrenker, the quarterback, on 2nd and short. Takes the snap, looks to pass. Another bullet near side. Pass is caught. This time it's Cole Booth on the grab up past the 30. He makes the catch at the 34 before being brought down. On the stop, it's again Patrick Crossy who made that play on the kickoff game a couple minutes ago. First down for the Jackets from the 34. You'd think if the Jackets have a chance today, they're going to have to use time of possession as a true advantage. Keep the ball out of the hands of Drew Saxton, the Case Western quarterback. Pre-snap movement, but no flags fly, and it's a handoff left side. It's Justin Flack. He has some open space. Flack inside the 30, inside the 20, and he finally gets wrapped up at the 10-yard line. The Jackets fake out Case Western on a draw play, and it's Justin Flack with a ton of open space. First and goal for the Jackets coming up.
Mason Schrenker has definitely grown into the position that he got himself thrown into. When you first saw him at the quarterback position, when he would take the snap, it would be one quick, let's go, hut, and then they go. And that just gets the defense off of their walkers.
Here's a handoff up the middle. It's Flack, but Flack is going to get stopped in the backfield this time. A good play by Joshua Smith.
Tripped up by number 8, Joshua Smith.
2-yard loss, 2nd and goal from the 12 now for the Jackets.
The 12-yard line, 2nd down.
Mitch Montani, Paul Zalakar with you. We'll have Ed DiOrio giving periodic updates from the sideline. Hugh O'Neill, our producer. Dylan Cleland, our camera operator, making sure everything runs smoothly here today. Drew Rhea, our spotter. Can't forget about our guy here, helping us out all game long. There's a run to the left side, and it's another backfield stop for Case Western. Handoff again going to Justin Flack, and Flack with a lack of space. I beg your pardon, that was a shovel play to Cole Booth. Tried to get that ball over. Flack was trying to block for him. He was caught up in the mix there. And Booth is the one who carried the football, but he gets tackled for another loss, this time it's a 2-yard loss, and now it's 3rd and goal from the 14. Schrenker from the gun with Chad Walker flanking to his left. 4 receiver set, 3 near side, 1 far side for the junior 6'2" quarterback. He looks to pass from the gun, and here's a pass that's incomplete. Daze Crum was out in the flat near the far sideline, and Crum did not see the pass as it came out of Schrenker's hand. A little bit of a miscommunication. 4th down for the Jackets from the 14, and out comes the punting unit.
Yeah, Colin Schuster, he was out there on the coverage. Both him and Daze Crum didn't even look to see where the ball was going.
Number 32.
And Schrenker just wanted to get the ball away. It was in a safe spot to the left side, and so no chance of interception, and keep a chance for getting points here as Mike Ryle is ready to kick the ball away.
Field goal is up, and it is through by Mike Ryle. Ryle knocks it through. That field goal comes from 31 yards away, and Ryle gets the Jackets on the board. It's 7-3 in favor of Case Western. So good drive by the Jackets, a couple of big plays, but they have to settle for the field goal. Good job by the Spartans to keep the Jackets out of the end zone, and Waynesburg down 4 and about to give Case Western the ball back.
Ryle leading the team with 20 points. He's had 11 extra points, 3 field goals so far in the season. Make that 4 now, and 23 points total. We're going to get the first look at Waynesburg's defense against Case Western Reserve's offense, and this is kind of a matchup you'd like to see. Waynesburg's had a lot of trouble defending the run, but Case Western Reserve is a team that has been absolutely great at passing the ball. They average about 275 yards passing. In Waynesburg, on the other end of the spectrum, defensively, they're the best PAC top pass defense, allowing fewest pass yards and second fewest in the country, averaging 89.6 yards per game. So a good matchup. We're going to see what Waynesburg's defense can do against the pass against Drew Saxton, and especially against Colt Morgan, who's a talented wide receiver for the Spartans.
Our score bug right now is down, so we're going to keep you updated as to what the score is here on Woosin. It's 7-3 right now, Case Western. Here's a short kick by the Jackets, an onside kick attempt, but the Spartans appear to have jumped on top of it, and they did. One of the up men for Case Western hopped on that football. Caleb Montgomery, an outside linebacker who's on kick return coverage, was able to snatch that ball up after the Jackets opted for some trickery, but it goes to no avail, and Case Western will start in good field position.
Yeah, and why not? You don't really have anything to lose in this situation for the Yellow Jackets, and if they get a quick ball back in their offense possession, they could potentially take the lead again.
Drew Saxton from under center with an I formation behind him, has 2 wideouts far side, 1 near side with his team up 4. Takes the snap, hands the football off, and taking this one up the middle is Zach Hall. Hall has a small seam. He gets to the 41. That's a 5-yard pickup for Hall, setting up a 2nd down and 5.
Zach Hall on the carry.
Waynesburg defensively not the greatest at defending the run, and teams have exploited that before. With cold conditions, Waynesburg might be seeing a lot more rush attempts coming out of Case Western Reserve than they typically do.
Zach Bachman on that last tackle for the Jackets. Saxton once again from under center. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Here's a quick pass to the far side. It's caught for a 1st down, and being shoved out of bounds is Colt Morgan. Morgan with that catch for Case Western. We'll see him a lot today. That's his 29th catch of the season. Results in a 1st down, and 1st down and 10 for Case. From the 26 of the Jackets, Luke Menges on the stop.
With that reception, Colt Morgan is now over 800-yard receptions in the year.
10:45 to go, 1st quarter, 7-3 Case Western. Saxton works from the shotgun for the 1st time. He takes the snap, hands the football off. Taking it up the middle is Zach Hall. Hall has nearly 1st down yardage. They'll give him a 1st down to the 16-yard line.
Zach Hall
Tyler Smith, you'll hear his name a lot, makes the play. Another quick handoff for Case Western after they go no huddle, but this time Zach Hall has no space to work with. Maybe picks up half a yard toward the 15-yard line.
On the carry.
And it's 2nd down and long now for Case Western.
Short gain to the 15-yard line, 2nd down.
Brett Hicks was the one who wrapped him up. Saxton, who has 21 touchdown passes on the year, now works from a 4-receiver set on 2nd and 10. Now turns to the sideline and waits for a command. with Zach Hall behind him. Two wideouts near side are Ryan Coolidge and Mario Robena. There's a throw toward the end zone, incomplete. Was looking for Robena, and it was just a little bit too far out of his grasp. Incomplete, 3rd and 10.
Coverage on the play by James Jackson.
James Jackson on the coverage for the Jackets. Now Waynesburg a chance to hold Case Western to a field goal attempt, Paul, on 3rd down and long.
And you trust Saxon to throw that ball 10 times out of 10. He's just that great at throwing the ball. He's shown it this year and last year just as a sophomore.
Saxton again looks to the sideline. After this Case Western drive, we'll send it down to Ed DiOrio on the sideline. Back to passes Saxton. He looks downfield, gets away from a couple of tacklers, scrambles to his right, throws to the end zone, and it is incomplete, out of bounds. Was looking for Ryan Coolidge. Coolidge made the grab but couldn't keep a foot in. It's an incomplete pass, 4th down and 10, and out comes the field goal unit for Case.
Huge defensive stand for Waynesburg. What they're able to do successfully is just get pressure to Drew Saxton. He had to roll outside of the pocket and throw on the run. A tough throw to make right at the end of the sides of the potentially being 1 foot in, 2 foot in, but unfortunately for Ryan Coolidge, he did not get either of the feet in.
Jack Williams will snap. Ryan Coolidge will hold. Albrecht will try to knock this one through from 32 yards away. Decent snap, bad hole, but the kick is up and good. Albrecht able to knock that one through. It was a very short kick that just barely clears the crossbar, and it found its way through. So Case Western still able to get points out of the ordeal. They're up 10-3 now with the Yellow Jackets set to get the ball back, and we'll take this opportunity to send it down to our sideline reporter, Edward DiOrio. Ed, what do you got for us?
All right, guys. Well, I'm trying to stay warm down here. I hope you guys are staying warm up there. One team that's heating up early on this Saturday morning, what the heck am I saying, afternoon, is the Geneva Golden Tornado. They're up 14-10 over Grove City right now. Some other scores around the PAC, St. Vincent Bearcats. They've had some close calls with this very Case Western team, and they're giving another top team in the PAC a close call right now. Well, W&J just scored a touchdown, but it was 7-3. Now it is 14-3 with 8:29 to go in the second quarter there. And then Carnegie Mellon putting up a bit of a surprise right now, up 14-0 over Westminster in the second quarter. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Ed. Good stuff. W&J has had its struggles on the season, and we'll see if St. Vincent can pull off a heck of an upset in that one. Albrecht will kick it away, and the Jackets take it. James Jackson has it glance off his fingertips and behind him, but the head referee says that Jackson, in fact, did not touch it before it landed in the end zone, so it'll go down in the books as a touchback, and the Jackets will get the football with a safe harbor between the football and the end zone.
Jackets have two running backs who are very capable of working the ball down the field, and Chad Walker, a senior, and Justin Flack, a freshman. And they're going to be able to utilize both. If Flack has another big run like he did in the last drive, you can go to Chad Walker, who's capable at running, catching, and doing basically everything you want as a running back or receiver.
Schrenker, the quarterback, will hand it off to Justin Flack up the middle. Flack is stopped right at the line of scrimmage, maybe got 2 yards. Actually, more toward 1 yard, up to the 26-yard line. On the stop there for Case, Joshua Smith. Second down and 9 for the Jackets.
Minimum gain on the play. Second down.
Case has an opportunity to win the PAC title today. A 2-game lead on all three of Carnegie Mellon, Grove City, and Westminster coming into the day with 2 games left. It'll be one after the day, so if the Spartans can win, they will clinch a PAC championship here at John F. Wiley Stadium. Schrenker back to pass, looks downfield, fires it, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Daze Crum. Crum wasn't able to haul it in. It was a little bit too far. On the coverage there was Colin Schuster for Case Western Reserve, 3rd down and long.
I like that matchup there. Colin Schuster, 5'11", 165 pounds. Definitely doesn't have the same height comparison to Daze Crum. Get him on the near or the far side along the sidelines. You just get him to be like a few steps in front of him, and Daze Crum catches the ball, and he's able to just go for stride and he's near the end zone.
Waynesburg trying to avoid losing its 5th straight game to Case Western Reserve today. The Jackets 1-4 all time since this PAC rivalry began back in 2014. Back is Schrenker, looks to pass, dumps it off in the flat. It's caught by Chad Walker. He gets up to the 34, but he's going to be short of a first down. It'll be 4th down and 1 for the Jackets. They needed 9, they got 8, and right now, Chris Smithley is keeping the offense on the field.
4th down.
And we'll see if the Jackets decide to go for it, but it looks like the punting unit is starting to make its way out there, and here they come.
On a punt for Waynesburg.
Caden Roberts will now depart the field. There's some type of confusion because the Jacket punter is just now scrambling onto the field. Roberts is out there, and now the Jackets are going to use a timeout.
Waynesburg, their first timeout of the first half.
Well, you have to think, Mitch, one, Caden Roberts, he's capable of throwing the ball as well. He's the backup quarterback for the Yellow Jackets, so maybe they were trying to think of some kind of trickery to go out there, and then you try to think, well, maybe there's too many guys in the field. You don't want to take another penalty, so you're not at 4th and 1 situation. You're at a 4th and 5. It just wasn't a good situation for Waynesburg, and so they had to eat a timeout. One very early, only 7:50 left to go in the first quarter. Still a lot of time to play. And Waynesburg, now at this timeout, they do have an opportunity to maybe scheme up some kind of play if they do want to go for it or do a fake on the punt. But if you're Waynesburg's sake, you just want to get the ball away and hopefully your defense can stop this pretty impressive Case Western offense.
So they still keep the punting unit out there for now, and it looks like Caden Roberts and company are going to try to kick this one away. The snapper is Dan Verhoefsick. Roberts back just inside his own 20-yard line, back deep to return for Case is Mario Robena. Good snap, and Roberts boots it away. It's a short kick, and Robena takes it at his own 40, and he's going to be bottled up by the Jackets quickly.
Howie Medzer gets the wrap up and then the final stuff. He did get helped by another Jacket, but ultimately he was the one that brought him down. And in stride, Robena was able to take that, but it wasn't able to pick up much of a yard, about maybe 2 or 3 from when he took that punt. And Waynesburg will have to stop Case Western Reserve at their 40-yard line.
Case with 60 yards to go. 7:40 left first quarter, 10-3. The Spartans lead it here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Drew Saxton, 3 receiver set, will hand the football off. Taking it up the middle is Zach Hall. Hall has a decent carry up to the Case 45-yard line. He'll get half the distance he needs. 2nd down and 5 coming up.
Zach Hall on the carry. Tackled by Hitler and Hicks. 2nd down.
Another carry up the middle for Case Western Reserve. And it was Hall yet again taking that one, this time a 4-yard gain, but they're still a yard short. Case Western running the hurry-up offense. 3rd down and 1. Saxton gets the snap, hands it off to Hall, and Hall's going to be stuffed. Did he carry it over the line? He did not. It is 4th down. That's going to go down as no gain for Hall and company. Now 4th down and 1. The tackle made by Brett Hicks of the Jackets. And we'll see if Case can pick up the 1st down. They're not sending their punt team out there. Trying to stay aggressive against this Yellow Jacket defense. Saxton under center. Now looks to the sideline. He has Hall behind him. Brett Carney, the fullback in this I formation for Case Western. Fourth and 1 for Case. Big play in the ball game right here. Saxton will hand the football off up the middle, and stopped in the backfield is Zach Hall.
Tyler Smith absolutely coming up big for the Jackets, and that's a name that you know is gone down to make the big plays.
And down on the field is Zach Hall after being tackled there, and out comes the training staff for Case Western immediately to work on the starting running back. And they are Right now checking on Hall's knee, it appears. He was wrapped up by Tyler Smith, as Paul mentioned. Jackets trying to pick up an upset today against Case Western.
Taking a look at some other games going on in PAC play. Grove City, they're hosting Geneva. That game started at 1 o'clock. Westminster 6-2 taking on Carnegie Mellon, as Ed mentioned. Carnegie Mellon was up ahead against Westminster. St. Vincent at Washington Jefferson, and winless Teal at Bethany.
Yeah, far and away, I think the best matchup on the day, Paul, all the ones you were just talking about, was Westminster and Carnegie Mellon at CMU today. The Jackets with some tough ball games against both of those groups, but trying to pull off a big upset today against a team that's ranked #1 in the President's Athletic Conference and has yet to lose a game. Mason Schrenker from the shotgun position sends Cole Booth in motion. He will hand the ball off up the middle, however, and carrying the football inside the 45-yard line of Case Western is Justin Flack, a 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7.
If you're Waynesburg, that you're kind of establishing that run game right now, and that's kind of their identity that they'd like to work with, getting Justin Flack up the middle, maybe get a 3-4 yard gain. If they get an easy dump-off pass like they did in the previous drive to Chad Walker and you end up getting those extra yardage, then that's huge. You necessarily might not have that deep ball from Schrenker, but if you run the ball, you're going to get some yards most likely.
Flack on the carry.
Skylar Wattis on that last tackle for Case Western Reserve. 2nd down and 7.
42, Michael Amadio, 2nd down.
Schrenker barking out signals to his offensive line. 3 receivers near side, none far side. Takes the snap, hands it off to Flack after a fake. Flack takes it up the gut, and he'll get a couple more yards to the 41. And this will make 3rd down manageable for the Jackets. 3rd and 4 coming up from the 41. Colin Schuster on the stop.
Number 22, Travis Johnston, gain us to the 41-yard
As we tick down to 5 minutes to play first quarter. 10-3 Case, with the Jackets trying to bite into that lead. The only win the Jackets have had against Case Western came back in the 2014 season. That was the first year these two teams played. Waynesburg a 20-point win over the Spartans at home, 35-15. That was the year the Jackets beat W&J. A lot of good things going for the Jacket program that season. Justin Flack is stopped in the backfield here for a loss. A 2-yard loss on 3rd and 4. Now
Flack
4th down and 6 for the Jackets.
Smith.
Joshua Smith on the stop. What do you think, Paul? Would you go for it here on 4th down and 6?
I'd go for it. 10 times out of 10 from the Yellow Jackets, there's definitely no way you're going to kick the ball into the uprights. You're probably, if you're punting it, maybe getting them down to about the 10 or 5-yard line, but they're pretty good. They already got a kick return, and they get a punt return too, so I'd say go for it. You got nothing to lose.
That's what the Jackets are going to do with Schrenker in the gun, and he'll pooch kick it. Schrenker will punt it, and it rolls to the 15-yard line of Case Western before being downed by Bobby Gershaber. And the ball will be spotted at the 16-yard line. So the Jackets opt for some trickery, and that allows for Case Western to not get anybody back there in the return game. So it'll now be Case Western football with the 3:43 mark showing in quarter number 1. Up by 7. Once we hit the in-between point between the first and second quarter, we'll try to get some type of score graphic up for you. Right now, a 10-3 lead for Case Western with about 4 minutes remaining in quarter number 1. Saxton fires a pass far side. It's going to be caught. And being shoved out of bounds for Case Western Reserve on that pass was Lucas DeCaro. DeCaro, the freshman out of Mount Lebanon, makes the catch there. Case Western's going to use a lot of guys in the passing game today. Saxton, one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the President's Athletic Conference, doing what he does. Drops back to pass again, fires this one deep down the far side of the field, and it's incomplete, but penalty markers are all over the place. This is going to be a pass interference call for absolute certain against the Yellow Jackets.
Ty Mackley's matched up on that far sidelines. They got a little handsy with each other, but ultimately the Case Western receiver dropped to the ground. They both did have hands on each other, but the refs are definitely going to see offense making a pass interference play. Luckily, we were not in the NFL. We don't have to worry about any replays for pass interference one way or another.
Also don't need to worry about the spot of the foul penalty, which hurts in the NFL as well. It's simply 15 yards, and it's up to the 38. First down and 10 for Case Western. Penalty was against Ty McAleese, by the way, the Yellow Jacket corner. Drew Saxton with an empty set. 5 receivers. Fires this one over the middle. The pass is once again caught, and this is another 9-yard gain for Case Western. DeCaro on the play, and he'll gain 9 yards. Second down and very short coming up for Case.
Dan Verhosek was just a step behind him, able to tackle him once he had to stop to make the catch. But you hope for the Jackets that in Nets' case scenario that they're stride for stride with their offensive partner.
Saxton under center now. 3 receivers set. He has Alex Glatz, the tight end, flanked out to the right side, and Donald Day, the backup running back, behind him. And now Saxton moves to the shotgun and moves Day to his left. 1 receiver on the near side and Colt Morgan. Back to pass is Saxton. A throw to the far side of the field. It is caught for a first down by Mario Robena, and Robena is eventually pushed out of bounds by the Yellow Jacket defense.
Pass is complete to Robena.
James Jackson was the one who got to him, but it's another first down and 10 for Case Western, and that clock keeps running. Just over 2 minutes to play first quarter. Saxton and company move quickly. Again, an empty set. Looks to the sideline for help. Gets his commands. Now drops back to pass. Saxton, another short throw. It's caught. And that's a decent gain for Case Western on first down, a 5-yard pickup or so. And once again,
pass is complete to DeCaro.
It is DeCaro. Lucas DeCaro, the freshman, makes his 3rd catch. Second down in middle distance for Case. With DeCaro now checking out of the game. Saxton from the gun, rolls to his right, looks to throw quickly, but fakes it, now tosses one out of bounds, incomplete. Saxton throws it to the sideline after a miscommunication. 3rd down and 6 now for the Jackets to try to get a stop.
The route that they had, they probably did not have a good look. Ty McAleese and James Jackson in that coverage were pretty much right on their offensive target and were able to stick to their grit, and Ty McAleese helps defend what could be a big pivotal play in this drive.
And a timeout will be called before the play by Case Western. That is their first. And each team now has 2 timeouts remaining in this first half.
Mitch, we got some action today that's new sports coming up in the next season. We got the Waynesburg wrestling team. They're at the W&J Invitational. They're going to be without Jake Evans this year, so they're going to have to find a new identity from the powerhouse that was Jake Evans, who was a dominant force, was a big winner. The women's and men's cross-country team, they were in action last week for the PAC Championship, so they'll be in action next week. The women's basketball team last night lost to Penn State Barron by 9 points. The men's basketball team also had their Midnight Madness charity event right after, and what a good cause for the men's basketball team. They were able to bring together to support, and also Waynesburg had their Veterans Day parade today. I don't know if people were trying to get across town, but might have had a little bit of struggles to get through just with some road closures.
Yeah, it caused some trouble on the roads on High Street earlier in the day, but obviously for a good cause on Veterans Day in the town of Waynesburg. 3rd down and 6 for Saxton and company, 4 receiver set this time, with a runner behind him. Running back behind him is Patrick Crossy. Saxton looks to pass, fires it downfield deep, and the pass is overthrown, incomplete. Closest one to it was Luke Menges of the Yellow Jackets, and he almost got a couple hands on it, but it fell to the turf. Incomplete. 4th down and 6, and out comes the punting unit for Case, Paul.
Mitch, what I like seeing out of Case Western Reserve, specifically for their running backs, is that if they're not running the ball, they have done excellent jobs getting low and blocking anyone trying to get to Saxton. You see running back Brett Tarney able to get low and make a big block, so Saxton has more time to get the ball away.
Travis Johnson set to punt it away. Takes the snap. It's a low snap, but he'll get it off. And Howie Metzger calls for the fair catch, and he catches it cleanly in between the 10 and 15-yard line.
With the fair catch.
So the Jackets will get the ball back now. Long field challenge, but still Jacket football, which is a good thing, with 58 seconds left in the first quarter.
Bit of a slower pace in the second half of the first quarter. Back-to-back punts from Waynesburg and now Case Western Reserve. We're going to see Waynesburg deep in their own territory, see if they can get themselves out of a little bit of a starter position, and they need to get that first down and just take the next few first downs after that as well.
Schranker from the gun has Justin Flack behind him. We'll see what the Jackets can muster. Schranker fakes the handoff, and here's a low throw over the middle, but the pass is hauled in, making the catch there, Nick Moretti. His first catch of the day, and his 28th catch on the year. And that's about a 6-yard gain on first down. Now 2nd down and 4 for the Jackets. Kevin Chrisis on the tackle for Case Western Reserve. Schranker on 2nd and somewhat short. Hands the football off. Taking it up the middle is Flack. Flack has 1 yard up to the 22.
Flack on the carry.
And a 3rd down and 3 will come up soon.
Tackle by number 99.
That might be the final play of the first quarter. The Jackets get to the line here, but with 5 seconds left now, it doesn't look like they're going to run a play, and they will not. The clock winds down, and the first quarter comes to a close. So far, a pretty evenly matched game, the difference being a Case Western kickoff return for a touchdown to start the football game to give them a 7-0 lead 11 seconds in. Travis Johnston taking it to the house. Around an 85-yard kickoff return for the score. That made it 7-0 Case Western. But other than that, Paul, just a couple of teams that traded field goals, and Case Western, in effort to win the PAC championship, is only up on the Yellow Jackets 10-3 right now.
Yeah, we definitely were looking ahead of this game, or preview this game, thinking that Waynesburg really didn't have too much of a fighting chance, but just seeing what's been happening in the first quarter, Waynesburg has been able to stop Drew Saxton from getting a lot of time, and then the coverage on the Jackets defense from Seafick and Ty McAleese has been excellent. Aside from that pass interference call that resulted in 15 yards for Case Western Reserve. Waynesburg has been tested a lot defensively against the rush offense against a lot of other teams, exploiting Waynesburg's rush defense, but Case Western Reserve not afraid to take action against Waynesburg's pass defense, who has had a lot of success this year. But to Waynesburg's avail, they have only held Case Western Reserve to 10 points. They also put 3 points on the board thanks to Mike Ryle's field goal. And that was a big drive resulting from Justin Flack's large rush. And Waynesburg is going to have to get out of their own territory, and it's 3rd down and 3. They're hopefully able to get the first down here. Schranker in shotgun formation, 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Flack in the backfield with him to his left. Schranker takes the snap. He'll throw it to Daze Crum, hits him in the chest, but it will go out of his hands, incomplete. We'll bring up 4th down. Colin Schuster on the coverage. Crum had to jump up a little bit for that.
By number 9, Colin Schuster.
And that will bring up 4th down, 3 yards to go. Just under 5 seconds into the second quarter, and the punt unit will come out for Waynesburg University.
Yeah, Crum had to leap to make that catch. Schranker's pass was a little bit far off, and just wasn't able to make the catch because there was some good defense there by the secondary of Case, forcing the Yellow Jackets to punt.
Caden Roberts taking the snap. will be punting it back to Mario Robena and Trey Minnick. It will be Robena who takes the punt. He'll make its way to the 40, up to the 45, and brought down about Case Western Reserve's 48-yard line.
Return, tackled by Verhosek.
And good field position for Case Western Reserve Spartans. Dan Verhosek gets the stop on Robena. Take a look at the coaching difference between the Yellow Jackets and Case Western Reserve. Chris Smithley, 7 and 21 overall, 0 and 2 against Case Western Reserve. And then you look at the opposite side of the spectrum, and Applejack has just found a lot of success. And Case Western Reserve will get back to offense. Satson, under center, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, will look to the air, met by some defenders, throws it up midfield, and it's in and out of the hands of a Case Western Reserve receiver. That's Michael Woljeski. And fortunate for the Yellow Jackets, he had a lot of open space. Ty McAleese in the coverage caught up to him at the last second. In between the hashes, Woljeski, he had a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, he was open. He was open, and if he makes that catch, you immediately put Case in field goal range. Just wasn't able to make that grab. And a good effort by McAleese to make sure of it at the last second.
Dan Verhosek did provide some good pressure to Satson as it's 2nd and 10, ball on the 49-yard line of Case Western Reserve. Satson shotgun takes a snap. It's a short pass caught by DeCaro, who's had a lot of receptions so far in the first quarter. Tyler Smith on the coverage, pushing him out of bounds. It will be good enough for a first down. And inside Waynesburg territory, Satson and the Spartans will continue their drive, which started in the end of the first quarter and continues through the second. A new set of downs, 1st and 10 on Waynesburg's 41-yard line. Under 14 minutes left to go in the first half. Satson has a receiver to his left, 2 to his right, and it will be Donald Day III behind him. Awaiting the call for play and just letting some time run out on the play clock. In shotgun formation, he takes a snap, hands it off to Day. Day works his way up the middle between tackles, makes his way to the first down, and we'll see if he's short of about a few inches as the line officials will mark him just a yard short, so pick up 9 yards for Donald Day, and it's Tyler Metzger who gets the stop for Waynesburg.
32-yard line, 2nd down.
13:30 in the second quarter. Satson gets the play call. Same guys out there on the field for both squads. Leading 10-3, the Case Western Reserve Spartans over the Yellow Jackets. Satson takes the snap, drops back. He puts it in the air on the left side of the field, and it is caught. And that is close to the 7-yard line. It's actually the 6-yard line, so Colt Morgan will pick up his 2nd reception of the game. He's now at 59 receptions total of the season. And Brennan Seaford on the coverage for Waynesburg. Under 13 minutes left to go in the second quarter. A few personnel changes for the Waynesburg defense, as well as the Case Western Reserve offense. Satson out there with running back Brett Carney this time around. 3 backs behind him. Under center. Taking the snap. It's a handoff to the right side and stopped by Waynesburg defenders. Maybe a gain of 1. We'll see what the officials mark on that.
Johnston on the carry, tackled by Hicks.
Brett Hicks gets the stop. Johnston, who had 2 rushes last week for touchdowns, did not get any yards on that. We'll bring up 2nd down. And they've got 5 yards to go before getting into the Jackets' end zone. Waynesburg has something to say about that, though. Under 12 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Satson shotgun. Day behind him back there. He's got Colt Morgan to his left and 2 receivers to his right. Satson will take the snap. He'll look right. He'll throw right. Deep right side of the end zone. And that pass definitely could not have been caught. That went out of bounds. Intended for Robena and coverage by McAleese. And we'll bring up 3rd down. Waynesburg did give up some big plays, but at this point in time, they're just hoping to keep it to 3 points, if that. Just 5 yards to go for Case Western Reserve.
Sorry to interrupt, Paul. You can just tell how good of a quarterback Saxton is on plays like that, just throwing the football away and not taking any chances near the goal line.
Absolutely. He gets a third crack at it from 5 yards away in shotgun formation with same receiver set up. This time around, he'll look to his right, and then he'll take himself. He'll be on his legs, work to the left side of the field, and into the end zone, hits the pylons, and then dives out of bounds. It'll be a Case Western Reserve touchdown. Drew Saxton, his third rushing touchdown of the year, and it's 16-3, Case Western Reserve over the Yellow Jackets, pending the extra point.
On to attempt the extra point.
Robertson Albrecht will be attempting the extra point for Case Western Reserve. And he'll have the snap taken, and it is up and through the uprights. The extra point is good, 17-3.
Is good with
and Waynesburg for the Yellow Jackets will look back to their offense and see if they can get some points on the board. Unfortunately for them, they've had to punt a few times, one being from a pooch kick from Schrenker. Hopefully Waynesburg won't have to do any more punting, at least in this next drive. They had to start their last drive at about the 13-yard line thanks to a punt from Case Western Reserve as Howie Metzger down that with a fair catch. And Waynesburg just needs to get some kind of identity struck. They were able to find some bit of a few big rushes from Justin Flack, but after that first drive, they really haven't picked up too much stride, getting a first down, if that, and then punting the ball away shortly after. Albrecht will be kicking for Case Western Reserve. Back for Waynesburg, you've got Howie Metzger and James Jackson.
Deep.
Albrecht kicks it to the back right, and it will be James Jackson who takes the kick. He'll work his way to about the 30-yard line as he's stuffed by a few Spartans.
Jackson on the return.
And Joshua Smith gets credited for that tackle on the kickoff. 17-3, Case Western Reserve Spartans lead the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets. We're in the second quarter, 11:33 left to go. Waynesburg will start this next drive at their own 30-yard line. And Schrenker's going to have to find some kind of motivation for his team here on Senior Day. The junior from Robinson, Pennsylvania, played at Montour High School. Schrenker with one receiver to his right, two to his left, and Flack in the backfield with him to his left as well. Schrenker takes the first down snap. It's a handoff to himself, actually keeps it, fakes the handoff to Flack, and he'll work his way to the left hash mark, picking up about 3 yards.
And the keeper. Tackle by number 44, Cameron
We'll bring
Brown.
up second down, Cameron Brown, who is an absolute beast defensively. Last year was a 2018 Defensive Player of the Year. This week, he is the PAC Defensive Player of the Week and is just known for tackles for losses and forced fumbles and lots of great defensive plays for Cameron Brown, defensive end for Case Western Reserve. Second down, 7 to go. Ball on Waynesburg's 33-yard line. Schrenker will take the shotgun snap. It's a pass attempt to Daze Crum, who does reel it in. Short gain from that. Coverage by Colin Schuster.
Pass is complete to Daze Crum.
Waynesburg will move a little bit upfield, but not too much. It will bring up third down. And they've got 4 to go to get that first down. Under 10:30 left to go in the second quarter. Schrenker out there with offensive line Alex Paulina, Kevin McClellan, Eric McDowell, Tanner Six, and Chase Aspen. Schrenker has Chad Walker to his left, Daze Crum to his left as a receiver, and 3 receivers out to his right. Schrenker will take the snap, and it looks like a jump defensively as a flag was thrown. It was a sack for Case Western Reserve, but on the right side of the line, it looks like the line official caught a offside on the defense. Joshua Smith.
Offsides. Defense, number 8.
Was the one who jumped the line, trying to get a quick jump at Schrenker. So the sticks will be moved. Waynesburg will take that. They'll get a first down. And they've got a few more plays in this drive for sure, pending any turnovers, hopefully not. Waynesburg trailing 14 points, 17-3 against Case Western Reserve here at Senior Day at John F. Wiley Stadium.
We got live stats back up, Paul, so our score bug is operating. Thanks to Hugh O'Neill for...
Beautiful, as Chad Walker gets the handoff. Not a lot of room to work with, goes between tackles and
Chad Walker
stays on his feet, but the refs will blow the whistle and play will be called dead. He did make his way to the line of scrimmage and picked up 2 yards in the play, so it'll be 2nd and 8. Cameron Brown again making the stop from Westlake, Ohio. The Yellow Jacket offense getting a longer drive than what they've had previously, at least for time of possession's sake. Schrenker slowing the pace of the game down. He's in shotgun formation. Walker to his left. He's got 2 receivers on both sides of his field. Schrenker takes the snap. It's a short pass right in front of Bobby Grishaber, but not able to connect with him. That'll bring up 3rd down.
For number 4, Bobby Grishaber is
just a little in front of Grishaber. 3rd down, 8 to go. The Yellow Jackets will be taking on Washington Jefferson next week. That will be at Washington Jefferson, so it will not be Woosen coverage, but you can get WCY JFM coverage for that game. But worrying about this game at the moment against Case Western Reserve. Schrenker in shotgun with Walker to his left. 3rd down, 8 to go. Schrenker steps back. It will be a passing play. He's going to rush it now, and he'll get stopped at Case Western Reserve's Waynesburg's 47-yard line.
And
it was Cameron Brown again.
Tackled by DJ Wolf.
And DJ Wolf, a combination of defenders for the tackle. Not a lot of open receivers for Schrenker, and he just had to opt to run the ball.
48-yard line, 4th down.
Not enough for a 1st down. It will bring up 4th down. 4 to go.
It looks like the Jackets are going to go for this too, Paul, and I completely agree with that. You know, it gets to a point where you got nothing to lose. You're down 14 to the 15th ranked team in the country. You're 1-6 in PAC play. Just take a couple chances here. Try to make something happen on 4th and short.
The chance for a 1st down. They need 4 yards. Schrenker takes the snap. Will be passing. He does find a receiver, and it is caught definitely for a 1st down. And Brent Tavarich, the junior, reels it in. And the Waynesburg drive will stay alive. Chris Smithley took a gamble, and it paid off thanks to Mason Schrenker and Brendan Tavarich.
44-yard line for a Waynesburg 1st down.
Good catch there by Tavarich. Had to make a real good play on the sideline, was being closely covered. Good catch to get a 1st down was needed.
Back in the groove, Schrenker inside the logo. It's a hand off to Flack. Flack goes way in between the tackles, and he will pick up a few yards. Just some run and gun football.
Tackled by Smith.
As Flack, the freshman, works his way upfield. Joshua Smith will get credited for that tackle. Under 7 left to go. 7:40 left to go in the 2nd quarter. Waynesburg, who has a lot of returners on offense from last year to this year, has really found their groove in this drive. Flack will not take the handoff as Schrenker holds it himself. He'll work his way past the 1st down and deeper into Case Western Reserve territory.
Schrenker on the keeper is tripped up by
A
Schuster.
big rushing play for Schrenker as Colin Schuster from Manuka, Illinois gets credit for that stop. Even though he is a cornerback, he's had a lot of play inside of the hashes, trying to make sure whenever the rush comes into play, he doesn't have to worry about defending a pass. New set of downs for Waynesburg thanks to Mason Schrenker's run. Again in shotgun, he will take the snap. It'll be a pass, and it's caught by Cole Booth as he works his way to the right sidelines. We'll see if it's enough for a 1st down. They will move the sticks. Another 1st down for Waynesburg. Boy, oh boy, is Waynesburg looking hot. Patrick Crossy is the one who forced him out of bounds. An establishing drive for Waynesburg as they're down 14 points against Case Western Reserve. And Schrenker, as you said, Mitch, this drive found a way to keep time possession in the favor of Waynesburg, and it's really working to their benefit.
They're spreading it all around, doing a lot of cool, interesting things and keeping Case Western off balance.
taking the snap from the right hash. And it's a handoff in the middle to Justin Flack. He's got open room, and he's into the end zone for a Waynesburg touchdown. Justin Flack, the freshman, leading the PAC for total rushes, and he just does it all right there. Hallelujah, Justin Flack. Whew.
That's a big play. And you know what? That kind of play's opened up when Mason Schrenker runs it a couple of times because you keep Case Western off balance. You tell them that you're willing to do a bunch of different things to try to get down the field, and that opens up the middle of the field on that play for Justin Flack to get Waynesburg into the touchdown column today.
Mike Ryle attempting the extra point. Nick Moretti will hold it for him. The kick is up and through the uprights. It's now just a 7-point game. Case Western leads 17-10 against the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets. And a long drive for Waynesburg. Even with a 4th down against them, they were able to connect, keep the drive alive, pick up a few more first downs, and thanks to some big rushes to credit Mason Schrenker as well as Justin Flack. Waynesburg is just alive in this game as they were from the start of things. And it's starting to warm up, at least for excitement's sake, maybe not necessarily the temperature, but a thriller here at Waynesburg University's final home game of the 2019 season.
It is nice to have the cover up here. Didn't always have the cover. Now we have some blockage behind us and to the left and right side of us here atop the press box at John F. Wiley Stadium. It doesn't make things warmer, but it sure as heck cuts down on the wind. And when you're up on this level at John F. Wiley, there's not much else you could ask for. Good drive, though, Paul, by the Jackets, and now you put the defense in a position where they can possibly create a stop and get your offense back on the field, only down 1 possession.
I know it's early on, but every time the Jackets have lost at Case Western Reserve, it was by a deficit of 24 points or more. Case Western Reserve did score 21 points in the second half last week against Bethany, but Waynesburg's definitely making a name for themselves offensively and defensively. We've had some big stops on 4th down and then just resulting in a few field goals as Mike Ryle will kick the ball back to Case Western Reserve. And they will field that at the 2-yard line, working way up into the left side of the field, now to the 20, and taken out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Travis Johnson will get credit for the return. He had a kick return earlier, the first score of the game. A big one to kind of stun Waynesburg right at the beginning, but I think they've started to calm down, cool down, warm up as well. And they got to keep that fire that they had on offense and keep that motivation and mentality for defense as well. Satson will get another crack at the Waynesburg defense. MPSted got 5 receivers out there in the field, 2 to his left, 3 to his right. This is actually a rush attempt for Case Western Reserve, and it's Mason G. Montgomery who takes that snap. Satson was not in the field for that play. We'll see if he comes back into play. Tyler Smith credited for that tackle.
G. Montgomery on the carry.
Tyler Smith is down in the field. Unfortunate for Waynesburg, as he is a huge part of this Waynesburg defense. Led the team in tackles and just has been huge. He had a big 4th down stop earlier in the game today and has done an excellent job for Waynesburg defensively. And when you lose guys like John Glenn Davis, people need to step up, and Tyler Smith surely was one of the guys who did that for sure.
Our 2019 Senior Yellow Jackets, as well as an honorary pay.
We are going to send it down to Ed DiOrio on the sideline of the field. Ed, how's it going down there?
Straight PAC title this past Saturday.
Well, guys, there's a few scoring updates from around the PAC as we still got about 5 minutes of game clock here before halftime of this game. A few games around the President's Athletic Conference have gone to half, one of them being the W&J Presidents hosting St. Vincent. They are 21-3 over the Bearcats as of right now. One game is in the 3rd quarter, that being Geneva and Grove City. Geneva with a 10-point lead right now, 20-10 in the 3rd at Grove City College. And then in the Westminster and Carnegie Mellon game at the half, Westminster cut the deficit in half. It is 14-7 at the break. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Ed. Great updates from around the PAC. It's going to be Satson now, empty set. He'll be throwing the ball, and it's caught by DeCaro, and he's past the first down, past the 50-yard line in Waynesburg territory.
Pass is complete.
He does make his way out of bounds, so the clock will stop.
Tackle by number 19,
Aaron Gray will get credit for the stop for Waynesburg.
For a Spartan first down.
And Satson's just saying, hey, coach, let's just throw the ball. I'm very capable. We don't need to have a running back right here. Let's just exploit Waynesburg's defense. Tyler Smith, he's not in the game right now. Let's get to it.
That's pretty much what they're saying, and this five receiver set doesn't really hide that fact.
Absolutely. Satson again to Carlo, and he catches the ball and stopped by two Waynesburg defenders, one being Smith, the other being Dan Verhosick. And Waynesburg does stop them from getting the first down, but they did gain a decent amount of yards. It will be second down, 4 to go. The temperature check from earlier today, it was 40 degrees, but for the players it probably feels a little warmer when they're running around, but definitely a lot cooler once they start to sit down. As Satston, shotgun with 5 receivers set. 3 to his left, 2 to his right. Satston takes the snap, sticks to his feet, will rush this one, and Waynesburg will meet Satston right in rushing stride. And it was Brandon Tanku who was able to bring Satston down. Under 4 minutes left to go in the second half. Waynesburg trailing 17-10 against Case Western Reserve. Satston didn't like the way that the coverage was against his receivers, opted to rush, which he has been very capable of doing this game. Already has a rushing touchdown. And getting his play call from the sidelines. Under 10 seconds in the play clock. Satston, with 5 seconds left to go in the play clock, they're going to have to chew a timeout, and that they will. Case Western Reserve will take their second timeout of the first half. And Mitch, as you mentioned, and we'll have to reiterate plenty of times today, if Case Western Reserve wins today, they will clinch the 2019 PAC title, and that will give them an automatic bid to the 2019 NCAA Division III championship. This would be the 3rd straight season. If Case Western wins, would be the 3rd straight season a team has clinched the PAC title against Waynesburg, and it would be the 2nd year in a row here at John F. Wiley Stadium.
I'll tell you what, if you're the Jackets, I think you got to be a little bit pleased with what you've seen so far. You've managed to keep this thing close. If it weren't for a kickoff return for a touchdown to start this game by Travis Johnston, this ballgame would be tied 10-10. So if you look at the back and forth, Waynesburg playing pretty much even with Case Western on the scoreboard so far, just in need of some crucial stops.
Absolutely. And Case Western Reserve, 3rd down, 4 to go. Inside Waynesburg territory. Satston with 2 receivers to his right. Will go to the air across the middle, and the pass was intended for Colt Morgan, but just a little short. And so 4th down for the Yellow Jackets. Brennan Seafick on coverage on Colt Morgan. Brennan Seafick has been outstanding for the Waynesburg defensively, stopping passes. 9 passes defended, 3rd in the PAC coming into this week. Has been credited for 3 interceptions. And anytime you get a chance against Brennan Seafick, you might look at another option just because of how talented he is. Going forward on 4th down, Drew Satston, the Case Western Reserve Spartans, attempting a 4th down play. He'll throw it in the air, and it is incomplete. No good. Waynesburg will go on offense. A short and low throw. And the pass was intended for Chase White. First attempt at Chase White, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Tyler Smith was the one on the coverage, and Waynesburg, a big stand defensively. And the way they worked the last drive, they might be able to take this drive to the end of the half.
And I'll tell you what, Paul, both of those throws to end that drive from Drew Saxton were just low. And both receivers were open in route, but the problem was the Jackets were getting good pressure to him, and he was forced to make some early decisions that resulted in incomplete passes.
Lovely to see that for Waynesburg as they will start their offensive drive from their 35-yard line. It's a pass from Schrenker and incomplete, bobbled by Cole Booth. And defensively for Case Western Reserve. Patrick Crossy attempted to pick that off, didn't have enough juice in his tank to get there as the ball hit the ground before he could make a diving attempt at it. It did hit Cole Booth in the hands. It's the second time we've seen a Waynesburg receiver get hit either in the hands or in the chest. Pass might not be perfect, but if you get hit in the hands or the chest, it's something that you want to be able to catch and just either get down or make a few strides with. Second down, Schrenker in shotgun with Flat to his left, one receiver to his right, two to his left. It's a handoff up the middle. Flat will work his way to the 40-yard line. And it's very interesting to see Flat go through the middle, and you just lose him in the line, and then all of a sudden you just see him just diving and picking up a few extra yards, which is something you'd love to see out of your running back. They just don't go down right away. Slippery, elusive, and picks up a few more yards before he goes down.
And he's a young guy, too, a guy the Jackets will have hopefully for a couple years here. And it's good to see a guy like that make strides throughout the season.
Schrenker, shotgun. Walker to his right. Takes the snap, drops back. Schrenker will roll right. He'll throw the ball to Chad Walker. It's caught. Walker will work his way to the line of scrimmage. Might get it, might lose a yard. We'll see where the ball is spotted. Schrenker was under pressure and had to throw the ball away, and threw that actually as he was being tackled as well. Cameron Brown got to him and did so quickly. Case Western Reserve is going to take a timeout with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the second half. That was their last timeout in this half. They trail, the Waynesburg University Yellow Jets trail 17-10. Case Western Reserve wants to put more points on the board, and we're going to send it back to Ed DiOrio with some more PAC updates. Ed, how you doing?
All right, guys, little change in the score at Grove City. Right now, I would excuse my prior score. There must have been a issue with the live stats. Right now, it is 21-17. Geneva over Grove City. Only a 4-point advantage, but still an impressive Grove City Wolverine team struggling at home right here, nearing the end of the regular season. As is Case Western. Let's see how the rest of this first half plays out, gentlemen.
We are going to see it play out, that for sure, right here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Thanks for joining us here today on Senior Day, where the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets host the Case Western Reserve Spartans. It will be a punt play for Waynesburg as it is 4th down, and Caden Roberts will be back to punt.
On to punt for Waynesburg, number 16.
For Case Western Reserve, they've got Mario Robena and Trey Minich. Caden Roberts takes the snap, and he'll punt it back, and it'll be to Robena. It stops at about the 21-yard line. It does make its way to the Case Western Reserve 20-yard line, and because Case Western Reserve didn't touch the ball, they were able to let it roll out and let the clock move back a little bit. So losing 12 seconds on that play. There's under 2 minutes, and the 2-minute drill comes into play for Case Western Reserve and Drew Saxton. An already established passer, Drew Saxton, the sophomore, coming in today with a career of 5,221 yards and has been picking up more here today. First down, 10 to go. Saxton rolls to his right and hits a pass, and it's caught by Case Western Reserve's Chase White right along Waynesburg's sidelines. That's to Waynesburg's Case Western Reserve's 41-yard line, enough for a first down and then some. He did catch that inbounds and works his way out of bounds to get the clock to work in their favor. Drew Saxton has 3 receivers to his left and a Colt Morgan to his right. Patrick Crossy will also be in the backfield with him in the right side. Saxton takes the snap, and he'll throw it to Colt Morgan. It's caught, working his way to the 46-yard line, and James Jackson will bring him down.
Second down.
The clock will continue to drop, and Case Western Reserve looking to get the next playoff. That they will. Taking the snap of Saxton. He's throwing it again. Another low pass, incomplete to Chase White. And what we saw in the last drive, Drew
Third
Saxton may not be so perfect, and when he's throwing the ball at John F. Riley Stadium today, and the cold temperatures might be a factor, there have been some passes that have been low, there have been short, and in a pressure situation, either with the clock or with defenders coming at you, he's not finding the receivers perfectly as much as he would like to. But he only needs 4 yards to get the next first down, and then needs 53 yards to get a touchdown. Under a minute 29 left to go in the second half. Satson in shotgun formation takes the snap. It's a handoff to Crossy. Crossy has the first down and into Waynesburg territory to the Waynesburg 37-yard line. Clock will continue to drop. Brett Hicks credit for the stop, as well as Ty McAleese. Getting over to the line and taking the snap. Drew Satson will be passing this, and it is intended for Chase White again, and Chase White not able to pick up that catch.
Pass intended for Whitty is incomplete.
So if my math's correct, that's at least 4 attempts to Chase White, 1 reception and 3 incompletions. Not necessarily the fault due to either Satson or Chase White, one or the other for a variety of the different throws, and also pressure of time and defenders. Clock stop with the incompletion, so it's at 1:15. Case Western Reserve, second down, 10 to go. Satson in shotgun. Takes the snap. It's a passing play, and Colt Morgan fell down before the pass was thrown, or right as the pass was thrown, and he couldn't get back to his feet in time.
Pass intended for Morgan is
and
incomplete.
Seafig was on that coverage, and Seafig stayed with him even whenever Colt Morgan did fall.
Third down.
And a lucky opportunity for Waynesburg with Colt Morgan falling to the ground.
That threw off the timing big time on that pass from Saxton, who has had his struggles in this first half with finding his intended targets.
You'll be a little surprised by Waynesburg's tenacity here today, a 1-6 team in the conference, 1-7 overall in the season, where they're sticking with Case Western Reserve, the top team in the PAC at the moment, only trailing by 7, that is Waynesburg, against Case Western Reserve. Satson will take the snap, hand off to Crossy. Crossy to the left hash mark, still on his feet, past the first down, and about the 21-yard line as a late flag comes. Patrick Crossy gets the snap, and when he works his way to the left side, he gets stopped by a few defenders and then works his way out of bounds, but it might be a late hit.
After the play, first foul, defense, number 25, for a late hit. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So it is a late hit. That was Brett Hicks who received that penalty for Waynesburg. And fortunate bounce for the Case Western Reserve Spartans, as they are now needing only 11 yards to get into the end zone. 1st and 10, clock is starting to roll. Satson in shotgun formation has Crossy to his right again. 2 receivers to both his left and right. He looks right, he'll pass it off to Crossy. Crossy looking a little ahead, can't complete that catch. It hit him again in like the left side of the chest area. And he taps that same side, looking at Satson, saying, my bad, let's get this one right here and do it again.
Crossy probably was better off having not caught that pass, because if he did, Waynesburg would have swarmed him quickly and the clock would have kept going, and Case Western would have been in a tough spot there. So probably a incompletion that wasn't all too bad.
Without any timeouts, 41 seconds on the clock. Saxton, second down, shotgun formation, takes the snap, passing play. Again, receiver that he was looking to go for, Mario Robena, hit the ground, and the pass would have hit him in stride had he stayed on his feet.
Third down.
Waynesburg, another fortunate event for them is the receivers on Case Western Reserve just can't stay on their feet. 37 seconds for the first half. 3rd down, 10 to go. They can get a first down at the 1-yard line. They're going to look for the end zone. Satson shotgun formation will go to the air, and it's a pass attempt and caught by a Case Western Reserve receiver. That was Chase White who had the reception.
Saxton's pass is complete.
And they were not able to get into the end zone nor the first down. It will bring up fourth down. A hurry up for Case Western Reserve to get the kickoff with no timeouts. It's under 14 seconds left to go. The officials are going to let us know that Waynesburg just took a timeout. And you have to question why whenever you're under a pressure situation. They had a potential chance to let the clock run out and just trying to rush that kick. Instead, they're going to give Case Western Reserve all the time in the world to set up that kick, and Albrecht is surely thankful for that call.
Why? I just don't understand that at all. The clock's running. You have the kicking team running full speed out onto the field, and the kicking team has had its problems today for Case Western as it is. You're forcing them to run out onto the field with under 20 seconds left to try to get a field goal attempt off with the clock moving and no timeouts, and you do them the favor of calling the timeout. I'm kind of speechless as to why that timeout was called by the Jackets there.
They don't pay us to coach, nor do they have us down on the sidelines making these calls, but Waynesburg will do its best to stop this kick from Albrecht. Is on the sidelines. They're getting rowdy, as well as the band as well. And the snap is up, and the kick is up, and through the uprights, they will connect. Albrecht's going to get 3 points on the board for Case Western Reserve. It will be 20-10 in favor of Case Western Reserve with under 10 seconds left to go. And Ed Diora, you've got some other scores around the PAC. Let's hear what you got.
All right, gentlemen, got a few more scoring updates. 2 games late in the third quarter in the President's Athletic Conference as we're just about to head to halftime here at John F. Wiley Stadium. W&J extending their lead against St. Vincent. It is right now 28-3 with about just under 3 minutes to go in quarter number 3. And then in Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon, probably the best game of the PAC slate today in football. Carnegie Mellon right now leading 17-14, 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Ed. Paul and I have had our struggles. We're working through some cold weather conditions up here. Want to thank Ed Diorio for dealing with those cold weather conditions as well. It is chilly, and that is causing its problems, but we're fighting through, Paul.
We absolutely are, and the Waynesburg's infamous train hits the tracks as the kickoff goes to Howie Metzger, and he makes his way to about the 31-yard line of Waynesburg's side of the field.
Metzger on the return.
Metzger, big special teams player for Waynesburg, specifically for punt returns. He's taken every punt return that they have been kicked to. They haven't been kicked to that many times for a punt, only 10 times in the season. But he's also out there for kick returns as well, among the likes of James Jackson and Juwan Jones. Waynesburg looks like they're going to knee and take the 2010 score into the locker room. That they will. Schrenker did need the ball down.
That's the end of the
After the first half, Waynesburg was unfortunate giving up a long kick return to Travis Johnston. They answered back in the next drive with a field goal from Mike Rowell, making it 7-3. Waynesburg gave up the next touchdown, and that was a Drew Saxton rushing touchdown, his third of the season. Waynesburg was able to get Justin Flack into the end zone, and Waynesburg ultimately down 20-10 thanks to that last field goal from Albrecht with a few moments left in the second quarter. We're going to send it away to the halftime show in the studio of Buell Hall. Again, the score at the end of 2 quarters, Case Western Reserve 20, Waynesburg 10.
Welcome back to the 4th floor of Buell Hall. It's halftime at John F. Wiley Stadium between the Jackets and the Spartans. I'm Jack Hillgrove, back with Joe Smeltzer and Dylan Cleland, and we're going to talk about some other Waynesburg University sports. Welcome back to the 4th floor of Buell Hall. It's halftime at John F. Wiley Stadium between the Jackets and the Spartans. I'm Jack Hillgrove, back with Joe Smeltzer and Dylan Cleland, and we're going to talk about some other Waynesburg University sports happening. We'll talk about the basketball teams, preview their seasons a little bit, the wrestling team as well. But let's start with this Waynesburg cross-country team, the men and the women. The women 4-time back-to-back PAC champions, and the men finishing in 3rd place, a better finish this season. Let's get your thoughts on the PAC cross-country event for both the men and the women. We'll start with the men because I feel like the women, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. They're one of the most dominant teams and will be for a very long time. But I thought the men had a lot to be proud of on PACs.
Oh, absolutely, Jack. Coming into the race, the goal that Chris Hardy and the team set for the men's squad was to place either 2nd or 3rd, because St. Vincent was pretty much an odds-on favorite, and they took care of business and took 1st. But top 3 was the goal, and they accomplished that objective, and it was really because of the junior class mainly. Jordan Payne placing 1st, Nate Jesselin, high finish, Matt Mansfield. Those guys really kind of made up the bulk of Waynesburg's scoring, and although the juniors were very good, let's talk about a freshman, Jack Cockley, placed 2nd despite falling at some point during the race and twisting his knee. So he got up, was banged up, but ended up taking 2nd for his team and had a very good individual finish. And overall, the team finished top 3. Nothing really to complain about there.
A lot of time here at Waynesburg, we hear how the men's team is also always in the shadow of the women's team. And I think that this men's team is finally turning the corner, and they've always been very good, but they're finally turning the corner and receiving some recognition that I think they deserve. They're a very solid squad. As Joe mentioned, there's a host of juniors that really power and push this class. They're going to be seniors next year, and so maybe things align and they capture that 1st place. Now, obviously, if you're Chris Hardy, you're very satisfied with a 3rd place finish at PAX. Jordan Payne finishing 8th out of 100 runners. That's a very solid performance. And a number of them being recognized as 2nd team All PAC. Ryan Brownfield, he was named to the PAC All Sportsmanship team. He's been a member of the team for his time here at Waynesburg, and so that's great to see a senior receive that recognition. And so overall, St. Vincent finished in 1st, by the way, W&J in 2nd. Overall, a 3rd place, not a bad day at the office for the men.
I think it's a lot to build on for the men as far as indoor season goes, and then next season as well. Briefly, the women, do they show signs of any slowing down before we head on to the next segment?
No. All of Waynesburg's top 7 in Saturday's meet, they're all coming back next year. And Aubrey Wingert might be a national qualifier. She will be a national qualifier eventually. She stays healthy. I have no doubt about that. But as a sophomore, she might qualify for nationals as early as this year. She's that good. She's the best runner in the conference, and she did her thing Saturday and took 1st individually. Jackets took 1st as a team. Same song, same dance, copy, paste, repeat.
Wingert beats the 2nd place finisher by 14 seconds. Usually your races are separated by 10ths of a second. 14 seconds, it's outstanding, and this team will continue to be successful moving forward without a doubt.
The wrestling team starts its season after the Orange and Black Wrestle-Offs. They're at the Washington and Jefferson Invitational today. Let's talk about their season. This wrestling squad lost a former national champion in Jake Evans and lost a light heavyweight stud in Ken Burrs. Does this wrestling team still have what it takes to take home a PAC gold in a couple of months, or do they have a little bit of rebuilding to do?
I wouldn't even call it rebuilding. I think
reloading.
Reloading is a good word. I like that. Yes, because they do have big shoes to fill, but I think they have the guys to fill the shoes. But it's going to take a little bit of time for it to come along. They have a couple heavyweight options already in Leo Fedorov and Rocky McGeary. McGeary pinned Fedorov at the wrestle-offs last week, and so those guys are ready to step in and take over that heavyweight position, which is a very important weight class in wrestling. And I think obviously they're not going to be at the level that Jake Evans was when he left the program last year, but I think they can definitely step in and maybe be a good substitute for that for the time being. They have a number of returners as well. Matt Lascola, Zach Mackel, Josh Kuslock, Dylan Charlton, and Caleb Baxter will be back from injury too, so a lot of people were excited to see what he can do. He only wrestled one match last year because of his injury, and so we'll see what he can do. I think he'll be a big part of the leadership part of this team.
Yeah, he was a guy that really caught and turned the eyes of not just us here at Waynesburg covering the wrestling team, but I think around the PAC as well. And for him to go down to injury last year, I'm really excited to see Caleb Baxter come back this year, and I think he'll be a huge part of the squad.
Yeah, collectively for Waynesburg, we've been talking about some of the individual wrestlers, but an advantage the Jackets have is that there's only 3 teams in the President's Athletic Conference. So when the tournament match comes, all that has to happen is for W&J to have an off day, Teal has an off day, and then boom, you win. It's not like cross country where you're taking on 8 other teams. So that's an advantage for Waynesburg. This team obviously isn't at the level it was last year or the year before that or the year before that when Jake Evans was with the program. But the guys we're mentioning, Josh Kusselak, Zach Mackel, a senior leader, Caleb Baxter, Rocky McGeary taking in that heavyweight role. He's a graduate of West Allegheny High School, which is where I went. We were in the same school district for a year. But, yeah, I think the combination of not being a lot of competition, Ron Headley's coaching ability, Gennaro Bonaventura's coaching ability as an assistant, and overall the talent that is still back for Waynesburg puts them at least in the fight as far as the PAC championship is concerned.
Very quickly before we move on and preview another squad fueled by youth, do the Waynesburg Wrestlers win the PAC championship again this year?
I'm going to say no. I just think that the time has come for a new king, and that king's going to be Washington Jefferson. I'm not saying it can't happen, but Waynesburg's running out of steam. We kind of saw that last year where they needed a Jake Evans win to get a championship, and they got one. But now Jake Evans isn't there. He can't bail them out the way he did last year, and W&J, I think, presents are ready and their time has come. So.
Yeah, I think it's really early to make a prediction on that, but I'll agree with Joe, but I don't think it's going to be by much. I think you're going to see a lot of these guys step up and fill roles. It's going to be exciting to watch this team evolve throughout the year.
Yeah, I'm truthfully not sure whether or not, I mean, we'll get a better idea as the season goes along and really when this team finds its identity. But if I had to say right now, I feel like an educated guess would be to say no. As you mentioned, Joe, I think W&J is ready to roll, but we shall see. The Waynesburg Wrestlers have to rely on its youth. The Waynesburg women's basketball team really has to rely on its youth, not just on the court with the players, but the coaching staff as well. Sam Jones obviously back, but Matt Peock steps into an assistant coach role, and Jess Vormelker, who was a Teal Tomcat last year, now is a graduate assistant for the Waynesburg Yellow Jackets. The women, the Lady Jays, ready to roll this season. Let's talk about them. Where do we realistically see this Waynesburg Yellow Jacket women's team in a couple of months come PAC play, and what is their identity in the early going?
I think one thing that you have to look at right away are some of the returners, because there are a few. Andrea Orlowski will be back. She was the 3rd leading scorer in the pack last year. And now the 2nd leading scorer in the pack, who is right in front of her, is now one of her coaches in Jess Vormelker. So I think that's going to help a lot on the scoring side of things. Erin Joyce is the only senior. She comes back this season and will have to take on that leadership role by herself. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out. And then you have Brooke Fuller coming back as well. She'll get some time underneath the basket. And we really saw her develop in her post play throughout the season. But as you said, Jack, there is a lot of youth. There's going to be a couple spots that are up for grabs as things kind of get started this season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Allie Delaney fits into this roster as well. A Division II transfer from Notre Dame College. She averaged around 4 or 5 points a game and not a whole lot of time, but that's at the Division II level. And stepping into the Division III level in the PAC is going to, I think, help her. And I think with her veteran experience, she'll be able to move into this starting lineup potentially or just provide some veteran experience.
Yeah, the problem with this Waynesburg women's basketball team, and it's the same problem that plagued them last year, especially early on, is that there just aren't enough roster spots. There's only 10 members of the basketball team if the Waynesburg website is correct. So if you go back to last season, November and December were very rough. January and February were a little better, and Waynesburg did find its way into the playoffs, but unfortunately didn't fare too well in the playoffs against Westminster. So because of the lack of depth, I see this year going similarly to how last year went, and also it doesn't help that Haley Porter is no longer with the program, so that takes away your top three-point shooter and one of your best players overall.
Yeah, I think a realistic expectation for this Waynesburg women's basketball team is to improve on its PAC win total of last season, and I think that Andrea Orlowski will be a very big part of that. Not only was, as you mentioned, Dylan, she a top 3 scorer in the PAC, another top 3 scorer in the PAC, and Jess Vormelker's on the staff this year, and I think she'll be able to help with Andrea's post-game inside because she's very physical inside, but help Brooke Fuller take that leap as truly the only post player for this women's basketball team, and I think she will help on the staff as well, and I think this women's basketball team will be ready to roll. Now for a team that I'm very, very excited to cover this season, the Waynesburg men's basketball team. They have a lot coming back this year, a lot to be excited about, and a chip on its shoulder. Picked 8th in the PAC preseason poll, 8th out of 9 teams. I disagree, and I'm sure all 17 players on the squad, including first-year head coach Tim Fusina, disagrees as well with where they stand in the preseason. Do you guys disagree?
Well, I'll disagree that they disagree because I don't know how much people care about the President's Athletic Conference polls, because to illustrate how much these polls mean, the women's basketball team at Waynesburg was picked to finish 4th in the conference last year. And no disrespect, but we all knew in watching the first few games that that was not a realistic expectation. I think, maybe some players were a little, had their feathers ruffled a little bit by that. But as far as the coaching staff and Tim Fusina goes, I don't think it phases them too much. But what we can agree on is that this is going to be a very exciting basketball team. And the thing that we should all be watching is the pack line defense, which will be instituted. If you've watched Virginia basketball over the past few years, eventually culminating in the national championship last year, its bread and butter has been its defense, and the defense it runs has been the pack line. But by the same token, Matt Popek is one of the top scorers in the PAC, the top returning scorer, I believe, in the conference.
Yep,
A very exciting.
He'll score 1,000 points if he doesn't go down.
Oh, for sure. But a very exciting player to watch. But you have to wonder, because anybody that watches Virginia knows that the pack line isn't really known for having offense on the other side. So will we see the scoring of Popek go down because of that defense? Remains to be seen. But I think in any case, this is going to be an exciting team to watch.
Dylan, you talked to Tim Fusina earlier this week about some of his stuff this season, and one of the things that he stressed upon was that this team struggled last year defensively, and in the preseason and the early going of practice before they are ready to go this winter is defensively and improving overall as a team defensively.
Well, that's one of the things that I have jotted down here. It's the defensive focus first, and it's going to be something new for a lot of these guys. 4 or 5 starters are returning, and they're going to have to change their philosophy completely. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. You know, you hear the cliche all the time, defense wins championships. You do have to play solid defense. And so it'll be interesting to see how scorers like Matt Popek and Brennan Smith, who will be back, it'll be interesting to see him back on the court after everything that's happened in his years. He led the team with 28 minutes, about 28 minutes a game as well, so that's something to note. But it'll be interesting to see how guys like that handle this defensive focus first. If they're able to, and then they're still able to get back down the floor and score as well as they have, this team could definitely make a push for the top 4 or 5 spot in the PAC.
And also, the PAC, aside from Waynesburg, isn't very strong. You have St. Vincent at the top, but real quickly to illustrate how the PAC is, there were 2 teams in the entire conference that Waynesburg didn't beat last year, St. Vincent and, for whatever reason, Bethany. So
it'll be an exciting season for sure. For Dylan, for Joe, I'm Jack. Let's send it back down to John F. Wiley with Mitch and Paul.
Welcome back to Waynesburg University Sports Network Productions, and we are covering the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets football game against the Case Western Reserve Spartans. After 2 quarters, the Yellow Jackets trailed 20-10 here at Senior Day. As Case Western Reserve received the ball first in the first half, Waynesburg received the ball to start the second half. We'll look to see what kind of adjustments both coaches made in the locker room during halftime. As mentioned earlier in the broadcast, last week Case Western Reserve was able to put up 21 points in the second half as they were tied 14-all with Bethany. They do have a 10-point swing against Waynesburg right now as they're leading 20-10. So we'll have to see what Chris Smithley wants to adjust or keep the same for second half action. Albrecht will be kicking off for the Spartans, and bat to receive for the Yellow Jackets, Howie Metzger and James Jadson. The kick is up, and Howie Metzger will receive it at the 14. He'll work his way up to the 20 and then the 30-yard line, getting out of bounds. And we'll see it's in between the 25 and 30. We'll see where exactly he did go out of bounds. Patrick Crossy will be credited for the stop.
Timeout. Injury. Timeout.
And Crossy, who has been a pivotal part of both offensively and defensively for the Spartans, is in a lot of discomfort at the 30-yard line. And, or excuse me, that's actually Brett Carney, not Patrick Crossy. I apologize about that. He's been out there a few times in the running back position for the Spartans. Not necessarily running the ball as much, but he was a heavy blocker, giving Satson a lot more time to throw the ball, which he loves to do. And taking a look at some first half stats, Brett Carney, he did have 2 rushes for 32 yards. And Zach Hall, he also was getting a majority of those rush attempts, getting 6 rushing for 25. And we're still going to see what Waynesburg is going to be able to do offensively as we're waiting to get back on the field. Under 15 left to go. We're going to send it to Ed DiOrio, who's been excellent today. Ed, what do you got for us?
Thank you very much, Paul. We have ourselves a comeback in Grove City, and now Grove City Wolverines have a lead over the Golden Tornado of Geneva, now have a 10-point advantage. That's in quarter number 4, so Grove City adding to their excellent season thus far. Another close one in Pittsburgh still with 6:33 to go in quarter number 4. The Tartans of Carnegie Mellon up against the Titans of Westminster, 20-14. And this game that I'm about to tell you about, not so close, 35-3. W&J just keeps pouring it on over St. Vincent. And my most credible source, a.k.a. that being myself, says that Case Western Reserve is up 20-10 over Waynesburg. Back up to you, gentlemen.
An excellent source of Ed DiOrio. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ed. We're going to get back to football with the Yellow Jackets' first drive of the second half. Trailing by 10. Schrenker in shotgun formation has 2 receivers on both sides of the field. He'll work his way up to the line, regroup with his squad, and make his way back to the left side of the hash marks. Schrenker. He'll take the snap. It's a handoff to Flack. He works his way outside the tackles up to the 40-yard line and about the 43, and it's Colin Schuster who gets credit
Flack
for
on
the
carry.
tackle.
Tackled by Colin Schuster.
Flack, who did have a big rush in the first quarter, a big pivotal part of that Waynesburg's first scoring drive with Ryle's field goal. Flack, the freshman, leading the PAC for total rushes so far this year, and 7th in the PAC for average rushes yards per game. Schrenker has got 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left with Daze Crum. He's also got Flack to his left. He'll be passing, and it is caught by Cole Booth. Cole Booth works his way into Case Western territory. He'll be brought down at Case Western Reserve's 49-yard line. Patrick Crossy will get Booth down to the ground.
48-yard line.
Will not be enough for a first down, but definitely a big play on that last play for Cole Booth, and it'll be 2nd and 2, ball on Case Western Reserve's 48-yard line. Cole Booth has gotten a pitch today and a few passes thrown to him, and that one right there for about 8.5 yards. In shotgun formation, Schranker takes the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to pass. A long ball in the air, far and out of the way of the intended receiver of Cole Booth.
Pass intended for Booth is
Cole Booth
incomplete.
got a little
Coverage
shooken
on the
up
play by
whenever he
14
worked his way and
defense.
hit defender
Third down.
Kevin Christis. And the pass that Schranker was intending to throw is just a little too far and not very close to Cole Booth. Cole Booth in previous years had a big role in lawn touchdown, or excuse me, lawn receptions. One was over 60 yards. But for 2019, we've got the Jackets. Third down, 1 to go, and it's a handoff to Flack. And from the looks of things up here, it's
Flack
looking
on
like
the
that will
carry.
be good enough for a first
Flack on the
down.
carry.
He needed
Covered by
one,
Joshua Smith.
and he got one. Joshua Smith was the one who brought him down.
Shy of the lead
And they're
stick.
actually going to
Fourth down.
mark him short. So it'll be 4th down, 1 to go. Waynesburg's already gone for a few 4th downs so far. They did complete one in their scoring drive whenever Justin Flatt scored, to making it 17-10. 4th and 1 from the Case Western Reserve's 48-yard line. Schranker takes a snap inside the W. It's a handoff to Flack, and it'll be nowhere to go for Flack. Case Western Reserve amped up as they are defensively will stop Flack. Skylar Wattis was able to connect out there, and you also look at Cameron Brown, who after the play was just
Brown.
ecstatic. Cameron Brown was
Behind the line of scrimmage.
been an
Turnover on
elite
downs.
defensive player for Case Western Reserve, the 6', 237-pound senior out of Westlake, Ohio. He is credited for another tackle for loss. He was in Spartan history last week, as he was credited for over 33.5 total sacks. And Case Western Reserve will get back into action offensively with Saxton having 2 receivers on both sides of the field. Saxton takes the snap, looking in the air, and it's Colt Morgan who catches that, gets out of bounds. Coverage by James Jackson. That's enough for a first down. The sticks will move.
Drew Saxton's pass is
And Case Western Reserve, the well-oiled machine that they are
Colt Morgan.
going to continue into
Down by
Waynesburg
Jackson,
territory. They're
first
at
down,
Waynesburg's 38-yard line with a new set of downs.
And this could be a chance for Case to really put Waynesburg down in a hole they might not be able to dig out of, because right now a 2-possession game, a touchdown plus the extra point would make it 3. Big drive here for Case.
First down, Saxton gives the ball off to Zach Hall. Zach Hall, a big rush up the middle, and he'll get to about
Zach Hall on the carry.
the 29-yard line, short of the first down, but on the
29-yard
first
line,
play
second
of
down.
that new set of downs, that's huge, because you really only need 1 yard, and you've got a lot of attempts at that first down. Schranker, again, same personnel out in the field, same setup. Awaits the play call from the far side of John F. Wiley Stadium. Spartans hoping to clinch the PAC title here today. Taking the snap, Saxton goes to the air, and it's intended for Colt Morgan, and we'll see if it's caught. It is. Wow, what a play by Colt Morgan, just short of
Saxton's
the
pass
end
is
zone.
complete to Morgan.
Almost looked like Dan Verhofstadt got his way in there to intercept it, but after the collision, he was able to reel it in, make his way to the ground. That was in double coverage. Wow, that was a great catch by Colt Morgan.
That one at first looked like it was picked off, and then it must have just kind of floated up there for a second, and then good play by Morgan to somehow snatch that one out of the air and just kind of bring it down.
This season, he's got 12 touchdowns for 72 points, already over 60 receptions in the year and over 800 yards. Will be first and goal from Waynesburg's 1-yard line. One receiver out to the right is Colt Morgan, and 2 backs behind. It'll be a handoff and up the middle, and just short of the end zone as Waynesburg gets the stop. It was Travis Johnston who got the call.
Johnston on the carry. Stop
And
shy of the goal line.
it'll definitely be
Second down.
within that 1 yard line. So just pushing their way towards that end zone. It'll
Number
be
23, Bashan Graham,
second down in
gets the
inches.
tackle.
Same setup, same personnel. And it will be second down for Case Western Reserve. And under center, Satston will take the snap, and it's a pitch to Johnston, and he'll work his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Case Western Reserve picks up 6. Travis Johnston continues his rushing touchdown streak from last week,
Travis Johnston.
and it's
for the team
26-10, pending the extra
touchdown.
point.
The extra point, number 41, Robertson Albrecht.
And a big gut punch Case Western Reserve did to Waynesburg University here at Senior Day. Albrecht will be attempting the extra point. Coolidge gets the hold. The snap is good, and it's through the uprights, 27-10. Under
Albrecht's
9:41 left to
good.
go in the
With
third quarter.
9:41 to go
Case Western
in the
Reserve
third
leads
quarter.
Waynesburg University
Western
Yellow
Reserve
Jackets in
27,
what looks like to
10.
be a clinching game that they will potentially clinch the PAC title, giving them a bid to
Score
the
updates from the PAC.
NCAA
Quarter.
Division III
Grove City 38,
championship.
Geneva 28. Also in the fourth quarter, W&J 42, St. Vincent 3.
And it's been a lot of luck that
And in
Waynesburg
Pittsburgh,
hasn't had
Carnegie
over the
Mellon
last
20,
couple of
Westminster
years that has
14.
seen a lot of PAC championship clinching wins for teams that aren't the Jackets. And we've seen W&J do it a couple of times. Case Western Reserve has the opportunity to clinch the PAC championship here on the
Robertson
road
Albrecht
today.
on to kick off.
The Jackets trying
Case.
to claw back in this one to
Jackson
keep that
and
from
Metzger
happening and
deep for the Yellow
make
Jackets.
sure that the drama for Case has to extend another week. But right now it is Case Western Reserve who has that clear advantage.
Last year the Jackets lost 35-15 against Case Western Reserve. The kick is up, and it is to James Jackson, who's at Waynesburg's 30-yard line, and brought down by Case Western Reserve
Jackson
defenders.
on the return.
That was Joshua
Tackled by
Smith
Joshua
credited for the
Smith.
tackle. I might have spoken too soon. It was 17-10 in the second quarter, and I mentioned that Waynesburg's losses to Case Western Reserve in their all-time meetings have been by deficits of 24 points or
On the
more.
return, we'll give Waynesburg
And I said,
possession
well,
at its own
we'll see
31-yard line.
what Case Western Reserve has got in the second half, as they scored 21 points in the second half last week. And at this point, the deficit is 17 points, and another touchdown would make it that 24-point deficit. But Waynesburg doesn't want to see that happen. They're on offense, and they're going to look to work their way downfield with Schrenker at the helm. He'll take the snap. It's a handoff up the middle and getting to the line of scrimmage and maybe gaining a yard on that play
Flack on the carry.
was Justin Flack. Joshua
Tackled by
Smith
Smith.
for the second tackle in a row.
Short gain on the play, second down.
And we'll bring up second down for the Yellow Jackets. A few personnel changes for the Yellow Jackets. Getting some different receivers out there. We'll potentially see a pass play if that's the case, but can't predict the future, as we'll see what has to happen in front of us. It will be a 3-receiver set on the left side of Schrenker. Schrenker also has Flack to his left in shotgun formation. Taking the snap, it's a fake handoff, and he'll pass it to Daze Crum, who catches it at the 34-yard line and stopped right away, not able to pick up yards after the reception. And
Schrenker's pass is complete.
Skylar Wattis on the stop.
Number 16, Skylar Wattis.
And it will bring up third down for Waynesburg. They picked up a few yards, but nothing too spectacular. And they've got 6 yards to go for that first down of this drive. And the Yellow Jackets just attempting to stay within a few scores. They're down 17 in the third quarter. Mason Schrenker in the backfield with Flack. He takes the snap. He'll look to the air. The ball is up, and it is in and out of the hands, but definitely pass interference. The Case Western Reserve, Kevin Christis, got all
Schrenker's
over
pass intended for Moretti.
Moretti,
Flag on the play.
A deep ball that would have been at Case Western Reserves around their 25-yard line. Unfortunately, it is a spot foul. We will get the official call from the referee.
15 yards, automatic, first down.
That's big. It extends a drive, and it's the Yellow Jackets further upfield. Pretty important penalty there, because if that's an incompletion, the Jackets, in all likelihood, based on the part of the field they were at, would have to punt. You don't want to give Case Western the ball back. You need some points on this drive.
Definitely not. The drive is kept alive. It'll be at the halfway portion of the field from the left hash. Schrenker has his receivers to his left, 2 of them to be exact, and Flack to his left. It'll be a handoff to Flack, patiently waiting to go between tackles. Picks up about 2 yards on that play.
Flack on the carry.
And they'll be inside Case Western Reserve territory.
Tackled by Patrick Crossy.
And Patrick Crossy and
48-yard
Skylar
line,
Wattis credited for stopping Flack on the run. A windy one and cold one here at John F. Wiley Stadium. That's definitely for certain. Schrenker and the Yellow Jackets, 2nd down, 8 to go. It'll be a handoff to Flack. He's up across the middle and past the first down marker. That'll be good enough for a first down, definitely. Skylar Wattis gets the stop again. Justin Flack
gain is to the 39-yard line for Waynesburg.
Has been a big part of today's offense for Waynesburg. He has a rushing touchdown today and some big grit, grind type of play from Justin Flack, who's been in there the majority of snaps, with Chad Walker getting into the mix as well. Still trailing 17 points. Waynesburg looking to cut that deficit for sure. Schrenker takes a snap, fakes the handoff, drops back. The throw is intended for Stoy, the tight end, and that will be no good, incomplete. The senior from McClellantown, Pennsylvania. It looked like Cameron Brown was giving some pressure to Schrenker. He had to throw over him as well, and just not able to connect with Alex Stoy. About 6:30 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Inside Case Western territory, Schrenker takes the snap, fakes the handoff. It's a pass that's blocked by Cameron Brown, and that's big because it looked like Nick Moretti had a lane and could potentially pick up that first down, but Cameron Brown, who cut around the outside edge, was able to get his hands on that.
3rd down.
And I'll say it again, Cameron Brown, last year's Defensive Player of the Year, has been outstanding not only today but just throughout this season. He last week was credited for 5 tackles for losses, including a sack, which put him in program history with 33.5 sacks in his career. Schrenker, 3rd down, 10 to go. Ball on the 39-yard line of Case Western Reserve territory. He takes the snap. It's a passing play, and it was intended for Bobby Grishaber, and over the head of Grishaber and the defender of DJ Wolf. Neither of them could have had an attempt on that. The pass was just too high in the air for anyone to complete that. He did have, it looked like Chad Walker open in the slot about like 5 yards out, which could have potentially resulted in a first down. We saw that pass play before. It worked out for 9 yards, or excuse me, 8, and I believe they needed 9, and they were a 4th and 1 situation, but now they're in 4th and 10, and they will be staying out in the field. Second to last game of the season. Why not? Get some reps for the offense and Mason Schrenker, who will be back next year as he is a junior. Schrenker, shotgun formation, takes the snap. Got some time to work with. The pass is batted in the air, and it looks like it's caught by Case Western Reserve's Joshua Smith, a name that is haunting Waynesburg on this drive.
And intercepted by number 8, Joshua Smith.
Joshua Smith from Atlanta, Georgia.
Ball be put down at the 39-yard line.
Easily dealing with the cold, that's for sure. And he's been all over the field. And that will end Waynesburg's fairly long drive time-wise, not necessarily distance. A big part of that was the pass interference penalty for the pass downfield. That would have been a big play for Waynesburg. And Case Western Reserve will keep the play, and that's G. Montgomery who had the snap. Satch not in there for that play. And
by Tyler Smith.
It's looking like that will be the case for Case Western, as Mason G. Montgomery will stay out there at the helm of the offense. He's got 2 receivers to his right and 1 to his left. He'll keep it, fakes the handoff. G. Montgomery makes his way into the Waynesburg logo, past the first down marker, past the 50-yard line and into Waynesburg territory.
G. Montgomery on the carry.
Tanku is the one credited for that stop.
Gain is to the Waynesburg 49 for a Case Western first down.
G. Montgomery, the 5'11", 185 defensive back and now quarterback for Case Western Reserve. He'll be throwing the ball here, or maybe keeping it, but he's got 3 receivers to his left and 2 to his right, so we'll see what he's got in his arm. He takes the snap, tends to just rush it instead, and he breaks free past the 40-yard line, past the first down marker, and Tyler Smith and Brent Seifert were right there to get him to the ground. The sticks will move. Under 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter, and even without Drew Saxton, G. Montgomery is able to exploit Waynesburg's defense when it comes to just rushing the ball upfield.
It's a pretty simple type of formation they're running. They're just giving it to G. Montgomery Washington, and he's just running it up the middle.
Some whistles will blow, and we'll see what occurred. That play will just definitely not count. And it will be, it looks like a timeout, and it looks like it's Case Western Reserve's timeout. Again, Waynesburg has had trouble stopping the rush throughout this year. Been a great pass defense team coming into the day. They were second in the nation for their pass defense. But when they're going against a guy like Drew Saxton, who's only known for really passing the ball and being great at it, they took advantage of it. They were close, but once it came down to any rush attempts by G. Montgomery so far, they have not had much success. They will not have to worry about, though, as Drew Saxton gets back into the lineup, and he's got 3 receivers to his right, 3 to his left and 1 to his right, with Colt Morgan, the lone receiver on the right side, in coverage by Brennan Seifert of Waynesburg. Under center, taking the snap, faking the handoff. Saxton will pass it, and it's caught by White. White will work his way across midfield into the left side, hashes into the Waynesburg's red zone. And so at the 15-yard line, Case Western will get a new set of downs, and the clock will continue. Sean Graham and Ty McAleese, both seniors for Waynesburg, get credit for that stop. Saxton, 2 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right. He's got a new set of downs. He'll take the snap. It'll be a passing play into the left side of the end zone. A one-handed attempt, and it's incomplete. And Michael Wojcicki was the intended receiver, and Luke Menges was in the coverage.
Menges with a smart play defensively there. That ball was tipped in the air by the intended target as he tried to bring it in, and Menges just clocking him as soon as that happened. You can't get called for a pass interference after the ball was tipped. So doing the smart play and making sure that ball wasn't completed.
Even if it's not a smart play, like you see the ball get tipped up, I think that's just candy for a defensive back wanting to get their licks in on an offensive target. Fortunately for the Yellow Jackets, it was incomplete inside the end zone, not resulting in a touchdown. Second down, 10 to go, and Saxton takes the snap. And Waynesburg will get behind the line and meet up with Satson, Tyler Smith, and Tanku will get
Bruce
the
Saxton
stop.
is sacked by number
A
18,
big
Tyler
play
Smith, and number 44,
for Waynesburg
Brandon
University
Tanko.
Yellow Jackets. And hard first down to get because
22-yard line.
they're pushed back to Waynesburg's 22-yard line. And this would definitely be a challenging field goal for sure. Saxton, 21 yards to just get the first down. It's third down. And again, is not afraid to throw against Waynesburg defenders. The Yellow Jackets still without an interception today. Have had 5 from just 2 of their defensive backs. Saxton will go to the air again, and it's blocked up by Ty McAleese. Great coverage by Ty McAleese. He gets his left hand on that. Michael Wachowski was the intended receiver again.
Broken up by number 11,
They were
McAleese.
both right on top of each other, and the pass actually came up a little bit short, enough for Ty McAleese to get his hands on that. And even though Drew Saxton has tons of accolades for his passing yards and passing touchdowns, he does have 9 interceptions in the season, and we saw some falls from Saxton today and some short passes, but he always gets the go to throw the ball over and over again, and that's just confidence for the Case Western Reserve Spartans. Another quick attempt for a field goal. Albrecht with under 3 seconds left on the play clock. It's the snap. It looks like the snap is off and it's blocked, and Waynesburg, Ty McAleese gets behind the line of scrimmage and stops that. An absolute wonderful play by Ty McAleese. Has had 2 big plays back-to-back. He stops the pass, stops the field goal,
Late flag comes in.
and a flag at the end of the play. We'll see what that is, but a great job by Ty McAleese, the senior communications student.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 23. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
And so Vashon Graham, the ref did say the offense, but it would have been the defense at the time. Now the offense, but unsportsmanlike called, and that's an unfortunate situation for the Yellow Jackets. They have to work with deeper territory in their own zone, which is unfortunate for the Yellow Jackets. They haven't gotten too much going for them, just some rush plays for a few yards, and fortunately in the last drive they got a pass interference call. But nonetheless, the Jackets will get back to the swing of their offensive side of things as Schrenker puts Cole Booth in motion. And it's a fake handoff to Booth and a handoff to Flack. Instead, he goes right up the gut and picks up a few yards. It will be second down. Game about, we'll say game about 3 or 4.
Flack on the carry.
And
by Zegers.
Schrenker waits
And
to get
Amadio.
his
To the 19-yard line, second down.
next play from the sides to the side. During halftime, we had the studio presentation of the halftime show, but on the field, the PAC women's cross-country team was recognized for their PAC championship win this past Saturday, and they've had lots of success, especially in our tenure here at Waynesburg, that's for sure. Schrenker fakes the handoff to Flack. He'll go deep, and an open Daze Crum gets the catch at the 50-yard line. He's still open and lots of room to work with. Ball is fumbled, though, and it's Nick Moretti who recovers for the Yellow Jackets. An unfortunate bounce for Waynesburg as they fumbled from Daze Crum, but luckily Nick Moretti, who is also in stride with Daze Crum, picks that up. A big passing play for the Yellow Jackets. Schrenker had Daze Crum wide open along the sidelines. Whew, that was
Yellow
close.
Jackets did luck out because Moretti was following Crum almost stride for stride. So right when Crum fumbled and fell to the ground, Moretti thankfully was right there to snatch that ball up and keep the Yellow Jackets in possession of the football.
It was Colin Schuster who stripped the ball in an effort to tackle Daze Crum. As the next play goes underway, Flack gets a run up the middle. And we'll bring up second down. But, yeah, Colin Schuster was able to get back and groove with Daze Crum, who once he caught the pass had to pick up his feet and get moving again.
The 18-yard line, second down.
And Waynesburg, their biggest pass play of the day, puts them inside 20-yard line of Case Western Reserve territory. Again, only trailing by 17. Under a minute left to go for the Yellow Jackets. Schrenker, most men on the left side of the field, fakes the handoff to Flack, and in and out of the hands of Bobby Grishaber. A second drop pass from him. That would have been a little screenplay to Grishaber. Will stop the clock. And you have a short rush and an incomplete pass on your first 2 plays of the new set of downs. It's a tough situation as you're in a 3rd and 8. Definitely 4-down territory. At this point, you really don't want to be kicking field goals because it's that late in the game. Even if you do turn the ball over, Case Western Reserve would have a lot of field to work up to potentially score. So they need 8, but they could potentially be getting that in 2 play attempts. Under 10 seconds on the play clock, 38 seconds stopped on the game clock. Schrenker in shotgun formation, 2 receivers to his right, puts Booth in motion, fakes the handoff. Cameron Brown gets pressure to Schrenker, but he rolls right. It'll be a passing attempt to a Waynesburg receiver, and it looks like it's caught in bounds, keeping his feet in is Nick Moretti. A diving effort, keeps his feet in. Whew, Mitch.
Wow.
These receivers have been excellent this drive.
Nick Moretti, what a catch on that sideline. You had Schrenker, who was very much in trouble in terms of being threatened to get sacked, was being chased by Cameron Brown, who has had a ton of success today. Schrenker got out of there, rolled to his right, and somehow found Nick Moretti, who toe-tapped on the sideline, got a foot in, and gets the Yellow Jackets in a 1st and goal situation.
Great coverage by Kevin Christis from Upper St. Clair for Case Western Reserve, but he really couldn't do anything except for maybe take a penalty, just pushing Moretti out of bounds, if that. But under 15 seconds left to go for the Yellow Jackets in the 3rd quarter, trailing by 17, and they're looking to push their way into the end zone. Schrenker will take the snap. It's a handoff up the middle, and short of the end zone, Jordan Taylor, who has gotten his first snap right there, and we will be swapping sides of the field, a long switch because Waynesburg's very deep in Case Western territory. At the end of 3 quarters, Waynesburg trails 27-10 against the Case Western Reserve Spartans, who are looking to clinch the PAC title here today at John F. Wiley Stadium.
It has been somewhat of a back-and-forth game. The Jackets have had their opportunities. Just a couple of things haven't gone their way. And up to this point, Waynesburg just trying to do the best they can to scratch and claw to get back into this game. We're going to send it down to our sideline reporter, Edward Diorio. Ed, what do you got for us, my friend?
All right, guys. Well, we had a few earlier kickoffs than the one we had today, resulting in some final scores. As Bobby's going over right now, I will do the same. W&J plumbing the absolute, just overwhelming the St. Vincent Bearcats. 42-10 was the final from Washington and Jefferson. And then a thriller in Pittsburgh. Carnegie Mellon pulling that one out, 20-14 over Westminster. Big win there for the Tartans. And then, as well as in Grove City, the Wolverines come back and win 45-28 over the Golden Tornado. Let's see if Waynesburg can come back and do the same thing, gentlemen.
Thanks, Ed. Jackets, 2nd down and goal from the 2-yard line. Mason Schrenker with a couple of protectors to each side. He'll hand the ball off up the middle. Jordan Taylor bouncing it outside, now moving toward the goal line. And is he in? No, he's not. He's spotted at the 1-yard line. He'll pick up about 1.5 yards there. And now the Yellow Jackets are in a position of 3rd down and goal from the 1. Patrick Crossy on the stop there. Now 3 men behind Schrenker, and Schrenker will sneak it up the middle on 3rd and goal from the 1, and he's in for the Waynesburg touchdown. A quarterback sneak on 3rd and goal for the Jackets. They pick up the score, and they make it an 11-point game. It's 27-16, just inside 15 minutes remaining in this one.
You got to just give credit to your offensive line for that one, because it's just pushing the defensive line back, and the offensive line for Waynesburg, a lot of seniors on the line with Alex Paulina, Kevin McClellan, and Tanner Six. They were able to get the job done, giving leeway for Mason Schrenker to push his way into the end zone.
And we're going to get a penalty before this snap happens. An illegal substitution call against the Case Western Reserve Spartans. Skylar Wattis was running off the field late. So that'll make the extra point a little bit easier for the kicker, Mike Ryle. Hold coming from Moretti, snap coming from Verhovsek. Extra point is up and through. Good snap and good hold before it. And it's a 10-point ball game. 27-17. Jackets trailing the Case Western Reserve Spartans. 14:34 remaining, fourth quarter.
Mitch, a big turn of events for the Yellow Jackets, thanks to Ty McAleese defensively. Stops a touchdown from returning in the right side of the end zone with a pass defend against the intended target, Wachowski of Case Western Reserve. On the ensuing play, it was Ty McAleese who stopped the field goal, blocked that, and Waynesburg was able to convert that into a touchdown. So a big turn of events for the Yellow Jackets, keeping it close in the fourth quarter.
Waynesburg striving to get their second win in PAC play on the season. They won a ball game about a month ago on homecoming against the Teal Tomcats. That was back on October the 5th, so it has been over a month since the Jackets pulled out a win. A 1-point win over Teal, 14-13, but since then the Yellow Jackets have dropped 4 in a row, trying to pick up a win here today.
Case Western Reserve hasn't lost yet this season. Their last loss came at the end of their season last year against Carnegie Mellon.
Here's the kickoff from Ryle. He gives it a short boot. It's an onside kick, and do the Jackets get the football? There's a big pile up. And let's see where the referees point. Waynesburg signaling that they have it. It's going to be ruled Jacket football. The onside kick from head coach Chris Smithley works out to perfection, but there's a flag down behind the play. Brendan Tavarich and the hands team was the one who jumped on top of it, but this is a big
Offsides. Kicking team, number 15.
It's an offsides call on the Yellow Jackets. And they're going to call for a re-kick. Oh my, that's a tough one.
Oh gosh, I wish we had replay just to see if they actually was or not. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but wow, that's the second onside attempt for Waynesburg today, and that would have been huge if they got it. It was a weird kick because it bounced up, went over the head of Case Western Reserve, and the Jackets were the first ones to get towards that ball, and there were a few Jackets that were going for it, and ultimately the play doesn't result in anything, but you really wish you had that one back. That would have been just a major swing for the Jackets. Whew.
Who knows if the Jackets will try it again here. Obviously, Case Western Reserve will probably expect it a little bit more this time. It has to go 10 yards if the Jackets want it. On the onside kick attempt, Ryle will again square it up. He's got 5 guys to each side of him. Make that 5 guys to his right. Yeah, and 5 guys to his left, 5 guys to each side. Here's the run up by Ryle. It's another short kick attempt. Do the Jackets get it? Yes, they do! Another onside kick attempt. They were offsides the first time. This time they weren't. Jacket football at the 40-yard line. This time it was James Jackson who got it.
Mitch, that was absolutely spectacular. What was very fortunate for the Jackets, that ball hit the ground, then hit Caleb Montgomery's helmet. After it hit his helmet, it took a great bounce towards Waynesburg's side, the left side of the field, towards Waynesburg's sidelines, and there was only Jackets there, nothing but orange.
I guess if you're Case Western Reserve, you weren't expecting Waynesburg to double down on it, trying to onside kick it after an onside kick attempt failed, but you never know with this team, and the Jackets get the onside kick, and they're going to try to cut this lead to 1 possession, down by 10 at the start of the 4th. Schrenker barks commands to his line. Tries to get something going here for the Jackets offensively. The junior quarterback with a man in motion. Drops back to pass, being pressured. He dumps it off, and it's going to be caught by Alex Stoy in the midst of all that, and he'll get tackled right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
I'll tell you what, Mitch. Once that huddle of players started going through, you see Stoy right there. He is hurt. Adam Paltrick, the 6'6", 230-pound senior, came out punching. He was trying to punch the ball up, but he's just out there just punching away at players, and had to have gotten maybe in the gut section of Stoy.
Second down and 10 for the Jackets at their own 40. Trying to come up with something after getting that onside kick. Here's a throw, far side, passes caught, trying to break through the line of scrimmages to Varich. He does, bounces it outside, and he'll pick up 6 yards before being shoved out of bounds. And this will make third down pretty manageable for the Jackets. Third down and 4. Shoving him out of bounds was Patrick Crossy, the defensive back.
Give credit to Cole Booth on that play. He was the other receiver on that left side of the field. Gave a good block for Moretti, and Moretti was able to roll around that block and then pick up a few extra yards instead of getting brought down a little earlier than expected.
Now 3 wideouts near side for the Jackets with Schrenker in the gun, a protector to his left. Third down and 4. Schrenker will option it to the outside, and running forward for a first down is Justin Flack. Flack needed 4, got about 8 or 9, and he was pushed out by Travis Johnston. First down for the Jackets now in Case Western territory.
Number 22, Travis Johnston. Gain is to the Case 43 for
If you're Waynesburg, you still have a good bit of time. Down by 17 at one point. They've cut the lead to 10 after that most recent touchdown from the quarterback, Mason Schrenker, on the sneak. The Jackets then getting the ball back after an onside kick attempt, trying to further cut into this lead. Schrenker back to throw. Pump fake, now a throw deep over the middle, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Nick Moretti. That one almost ended up into the hands of DJ Wolf, one of the defensive backs for Case Western. Incomplete, and it's second down and 10.
What Schrenker saw was Christis was beat on that route, but did not see Wolf behind the receiver. And luckily, the ball was actually a little overthrown because Wolf would have had a good attempt to intercept that ball.
Now it's second down and 10 for Schrenker and company against the number 15 team in the country for Division III, Case Western Reserve. Here's a handoff up the middle. It's Flack possessing the football. He'll pick up 3 yards up the gut. Down to the 40-yard line, Patrick Crossy on the stop for Case Western. This will make it 3rd and 7 for the Jackets. And Paul, you would like to think that in this part of the field, given the circumstances and where the Jackets are in the PAC standings, this is for sure 4-down territory for Waynesburg. So you probably have 2 cracks at this offensively.
It's almost 4-down territory the rest of the game at this point.
Schrenker, 3 wideouts to the near side of the field. Will fake the handoff, look to throw after a pump fake, and wide open, he finds Cole Booth inside the 25-yard line. Booth is wrapped up at the end of the play by Patrick Crossy, but Booth had some space there. Schrenker found him, first down and 10 for the Jackets.
22-yard line for Waynesburg, first down.
Booth beating Wattis on the first route. That's what led him to being open. He did have to stop at first a little bit just to get in stride with where the pass was thrown, but because he got so open, it really did not matter. And Waynesburg, ever since that defensive stand in that end zone where they blocked the field goal, it's been all Waynesburg from here on out. Hopefully it continues that way.
Schrenker barking out commands as his team remains in a 3-receiver set. Now a man comes in motion to the near side. It's a little bit of a pitch to Cole Booth. Booth trying to pick up some yards, and he finally gets pushed out at the 19 after a scrum. There's some whistles after the play, and guys get together, but no flags come out of it. 3-yard gain for Booth and company.
Again, that's Adam Poltrak getting in the face of the offensive line of Waynesburg. He was in there rubbing elbows, rubbing face, and then that pileup, he likes to do that punch motion where he tries to punch the ball out because, why not? If the whistle's going to blow, get the ball out of the hands.
Here comes the 12th man. It's on its way to help out the Jackets offensively. Second time we've seen the train come by today. 3-receiver set for Schrenker. He takes the snap, looks to pass, has a man open in the flat. Cole Booth again. Booth has a couple yards down close to the 15, and this will make it 3rd down and 3. Patrick Crossy again on the stop. Seems like we're calling that name a lot defensively for Case Western. He's made a lot of plays in the second level today for Case.
The 2 receivers on Waynesburg's left side, Moretti on the farthest side of the left side, he was met right away by a defender, but Colt he was able to get a little open space before the pass was thrown, and then was able to pick up a few yards. They're playing a little back farther away from just right tight on man.
Schrenker with Flack protecting to his right, hands the ball off to Flack, and Flack will be stopped for a 2-yard loss.
Flack on the carry.
Patrick Crossy again on the stop. He brought Flack down in the backfield, and we'll see what the Jackets decide to do. A field goal makes this a one-possession game, and we'll see if they send out Mike Ryle. Here comes Mike Ryle to try it. It's going to be a tougher field goal in this type of coldness, Paul.
Why not? He's been probably one of your best players so far today, and we saw him warming up during halftime. He was kicking balls from about right here, and he was making them, and he had a little bit of wiggle room, but he was mainly kicking from the right side, though, so we'll see if that has effect.
35-yard field goal attempt. Snap from Berhovsik. Good hold by Moretti. Kick is up, and it is wide right. No good. And that's a tough break for the Jackets. Mike Ryle misses a 35-yard field goal, and the lead for Case Western stays at 10.
Ryle's field goal attempt is no good.
I know it's not going to happen because they didn't score, but Mitch, would you think that if they got that field goal, they would do another onside kick?
I'd try it. I mean, what do you have to lose? And Case Western didn't really seem like they were very capable of stopping the onside kick from happening. The 12th man is still going by, and there's not a lot of variation as to what the 12th man is hauling right now. A lot of North American coal is coming past. Several hundred cars. This is a long train, Paul. My goodness. There's a pass to the far side from Saxton. It's caught by Colt Morgan for a short gain, and Saxton is down behind the play.
Thank you, Mitch. If this was any NFL game, that would have been a late hit, roughing the passer. After the pass was thrown, maybe about a stride or two in front, Tanku absolutely wrapped up, gripped Saxton, and just threw him to the ground like a bullet.
Saxton did not like it as he got back up. Seemed a little bit upset at that. 5-receiver set now for Saxton and company, looking to put this game on ice. Back to pass, fires it over the middle. Pass is going to be caught by DeCaro, and DeCaro has a first down, being shoved out at the 36-yard line. Lucas DeCaro, a guy we've seen a lot of today for Case Western in the passing game, makes another play happen. Dorian Hardy pushing him out of bounds.
Taken out of bounds by Verhosik, gain us to the 36, first down.
And this clock not in the favor of the Yellow Jackets as we roll toward under 8 minutes now. And Saxton and company now taking their time for Case Western, trying to get some time wound off this clock. Here's another short pass. It's caught by Robena. Robena has 9 yards up to the 45. And this will set up a 2nd and 1 for Case Western.
Robena. Tackle by Smith.
Tyler Smith gained the tackle. While he was attempting the tackle, he was also attempting to strip. Wasn't able to get it, but you have to make sure the tackle comes first, strip comes second, and that's what Smith was able to do, bring him to the ground and attempt the strip as well.
Case Western now 7.5 minutes away from a PAC championship here at John F. Wiley Stadium, trying to clinch it. They would move to 9-0 overall and 8-0 in PAC play. Case Western will have one game left after this. They'll be at Carnegie Mellon next week. Here's a handoff up the middle. It's to Donald Day. Day gets to the 46. He needed 1 yard to pick up a first down, and he got it. First down for Case Western. That'll move the sticks as we get under 7 minutes now.
By Brandon Tanko.
Brandon Tanko on the stop for Waynesburg. Look at what Case Western did last season. They were 7-2 in the PAC, lost out on that title to Washington and Jefferson. The season prior, they were PAC champions with an undefeated record in PAC play. Ended up only losing one game, went 11-1 overall that season. Wide open in the flat is Robena. Robena with a decent gain into Waynesburg territory to the 46. 2nd and 2 coming up for Case Western. And the clock keeps on moving, Paul, as we roll down into the final minutes.
And that success is definitely credit by Dredd DeBelchek, who's had a great win percentage with the Case Western Reserve Spartans, 71% win percentage, and that's 16th best among active Division III coaches.
Saxton has had a decent game today, hasn't been at his best, but has managed to control the game at the quarterback position and keep Case Western ahead, never really leaving a doubt that the Spartans would prevail here today. Here's a short pass, and it'll end up being a first down catch for Colt Morgan. Gains 4 yards on that 2nd and 2, and another Case Western Reserve first down.
Brennan Seafick was looking like that train earlier, just coming full steam ahead to make that stop. He gave him a hit, but wasn't able to wrap him up. But gosh, it looked like he was coming in with a full head of steam and nothing left to lose except just break the offensive player who had the ball.
And now time becoming a serious issue for the Yellow Jackets. Now under 5 minutes to play. Saxton in that 5-receiver set. And these short passes have worked for Case Western all game long, and the Yellow Jackets trying to stop this in the final minute. Saxton, another short pass. This time it's to Chase White. White gets down inside the 35. Another 2nd and short coming up.
Mitch, before that snap was called, Waynesburg defensively, they had a formation set up, and then right before, or it was right after Saxton got his play call, he went back to the line, and Waynesburg, as he was looking forward, gave a quick call, and they started to move players around back up, and that gave a little more open space right in front of the offensive line.
Saxton from the gun with Day to his right. Another short pass and another catch for Case Western. Staying in bounds is Robena, and he'll be a yard short of the lead stick. Third down and 1 coming up. Tackle made by Luke Menges.
Third down.
And now this is a big play coming up for the Jackets. They have to try to stop Case Western on this 3rd down and 1 with that clock now at 3.5. The Jackets load up the box, trying to at least pressure Saxton, who looks to the sideline. Case Western Reserve taking its time. Now under 10 to go on the play clock. And it looks like Case Western's going to call a timeout here. They do. As the play clock hits 0 and the game clock hits 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
And I'm pretty sure they were looking at that solo coverage on the left side of the field. They had 3 receivers to the right, and they singled out Jacob Berg against Ty McAleese. And if you're Drew Saxton, you're trying not really to throw against Brennan Seafick, who's been absolutely stellar for the Yellow Jackets. But confidence booster for Ty McAleese with that pass defend in the end zone earlier in the 3rd quarter. But if you got a Colt Morgan against Ty McAleese, that's probably a better bet than having Seafick over there. So they might want to try to single out some of their better receivers.
We will have an interview with head coach Chris Smithley after the game, so stay tuned for that. Ed Diorio, our sideline reporter, will have that interview at the end of the game. Regardless of the outcome, the Jackets need a good bit of help here down the stretch in this game if they're going to try to win it. Just over 3 minutes left. 3rd down and 1 for Case Western Reserve. The Spartans with an I formation. The box is loaded for the Jackets with only one wide out to the near side of the field. That's Colt Morgan. We'll see what the Spartans do. They'll toss it to the outside, and cutting up toward the first down marker for a first down is Travis Johnston. First down Case, and the clock keeps on winding.
Jackets still do have all their timeouts. They have 3, but at this point, with under 3 minutes and you're down 10, you're going to have to start using them for sure.
31 for a first down.
Case Western doing the smart thing right now and letting most of the time wind off the play clock before they snap the ball, and that's really strangling the Yellow Jackets in terms of time. Good showing today by Waynesburg overall, just a couple of plays not going favorably for them.
Yeah, you take away that kick return, it's just a 3-point game.
Saxton from the pistol hands the ball off to Day. Day churning up the middle, and he'll get a decent gain out of it inside the 25-yard line, and the Jackets immediately call a timeout. It'll be second down and 3 coming up.
Waynesburg.
Number 25, Donald Day III on the carry. Tackled by number 99, Lucas Donnelly.
This is certainly a good football team in Case Western Reserve. They know what they're doing. They are elite for a Division III school, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch in terms of any type of postseason play they get an opportunity at. They have Carnegie Mellon on the road next week. That's not an easy game at all. Case Western
Carnegie
Reserve.
Mellon picked up their win today, too, against Westminster, so they got a lot of momentum going into that game.
So they're still in second place. So let's take a look at the standings here. Case Western's going to go to 8-0. Carnegie Mellon goes to 6-2. Grove City, do we have an idea what they did today? They won? All right, so Grove City's also 6-2. Westminster played CMU, so they lost. So right now you have Case Western Reserve. They're about to move to 8-0, and then Carnegie Mellon and Grove City each tied at 6-2 behind Case. But obviously neither of those two teams, if Case holds on, can catch the Spartans, who will win the PAC title outright if they hold on against the Yellow Jackets in the final 2+ minutes. Here's a handoff and a quick tackle by the Yellow Jackets. Tyler Smith getting back there to stop Donald Day, and Waynesburg immediately calls a timeout. Play only takes 3 seconds off the clock. The Tanko on the stop for the Jackets, and it's third down and call it 9.
Number 25.
One thing I was kind of expecting to see in this game, he was a yard short of a touchdown, was Colt Morgan, and he's been a prolific receiver for the Case Western Reserve Spartans. He just needs one more touchdown to get into Case Western Reserve history. He's tied with 31 touchdowns in his career, and those are passing touchdowns. You would have to get that via a passing play. This year, he already has 12 touchdowns, accumulating 72 total points in the season so far.
So if you're Waynesburg, you try to get this defensive stop, and if it's a tackle in play, you call a timeout. Then Case Western, depending on where they're at, might go for it, or not. They might try a field goal, but from this distance right now, it's about a 46, 47-yard kick. So we'll see what the Spartans opt to do.
If they do get this stop, the way that Case has been on this drive, just their efficiency, they would probably go for it. And unless Waynesburg gets another stop like Tanky does the previous play, it looks like Case Western has a really good shot pending this play to win the game.
They add a couple seconds onto the clock, now 2:14 instead of 2:12. Saxton from the gun with trips to the left side. Fakes the snap, now takes the snap, hands it off to Donald Day. Day up the middle toward the lead stick. Does he have the first down? If it does, the game will pretty much end. He's very close.
Day on the carry.
Needed to get to the 21-yard line, was tackled right around that spot. We'll see where it's spotted. It's spotted in between the 21 and 22-yard line, and the Jackets will call a timeout because he did not get it. It'll be fourth down and about a foot. And we are going to send it down to Ed DiOrio, who has some PAC score updates before Case Western tries to pick up this fourth down and 1. Ed, what do you got?
Well, thank you very much, Mitch. As while we have most finals here in the PAC, we do have one that was trailing just a bit behind the other 1 o'clock starts, and that was Teal visiting the Bethany Bison in Bethany, West Virginia. Bethany taking care of business there. 37-7 was the final score in that final. John F. Wiley in the PAC, but little move to the hardwood as the reigning PAC men's champion Chatham lost to Penn State DuBois by a final score of 77-68, so not a hot start for the Chatham Cougars, reigning PAC champs in the hardwood. Mitch?
Thank you, Ed. And we'll talk to Ed before all is said and done today when he talks to Chris Smithley after the ball game. 2:07 left, 4th down and about a foot for Case Western. If they convert this one, the game will pretty much be over. Saxton, I beg your pardon, from under center. High formation, one wide out to the left side, a 2 tight end set for Case Western Reserve. Gets his troops in order, does the sophomore 6'2", 285-pound quarterback out of South Fayette. And he'll drop back to pass, float up a fade route, and nobody's close to it. Incomplete pass on 4th down and 1, and the Jackets will get the football back. That one was intended for Colt Morgan, but Morgan ended up being nowhere close to it when it came down. Cefic on coverage.
Morgan running a little slant to the right, and Saxton thinking he's running a slant to the left. Obviously, when your receiver and your quarterback don't have the same mindset, it's not going to result in anything pretty. And without any timeouts, Mitch, Waynesburg down 10. It's really just about making a statement on this drive right here.
It's an uphill battle for sure if the Jackets have any type of chance here. 10-point game, Jackets with the football, 2:03 left, but with no timeouts to work with. And we'll see what happens here. 4 receiver set with Chad Walker into the game as the running back for Schrenker. Schrenker back to throw with Walker blocking. He dumps it off to Walker now. Walker in the flat, working upfield. He's past the 30, up to around the 34-yard line. That'll move the sticks. It's a 1st down, but the clock will wind here shortly. And the Jackets get up to the line. Now the clock starts to run at 1:50-ish left in the game. Still a 4 receiver set with Walker in there. Schrenker back to throw. Looking downfield, rolling to his right. Now turns it upfield, looks to run, and he gets brought down out of bounds after a 1-yard loss. This will go down as a sack as Schrenker is taken down in the backfield at the 33.
Adam Poltrack licking his chops to get at Mason Schrenker, even though it's late in the game, but wraps him up a little up high, not in the face or anything like that, but over the shoulder and brings him out of bounds. It does stop the clock, but like you said, Mitch, they're going to lose a yard in that play.
96, Adam Poltrack.
They're not doing themselves any favor on that snap.
Schrenker trying to work some late game magic for the Jackets. Takes the snap. Looks downfield. Evades one man. Now turns it upfield. Pulls it down. Wants to run. He'll get to the 45-yard line and get out of bounds. That'll stop the clock and pick up a 1st down with 1 minute 32 seconds left in the ball game. Good play, Paul, by Schrenker, seeing that there was open space, making it happen and getting a 1st.
Absolutely, Mitch, and you got to credit Chad Walker for the block against Smith, who was coming in hot to try to bring down Schrenker behind the line of scrimmage. Those running backs for Waynesburg have done an excellent job of blocking.
12th man is coming back the opposite direction. 3rd time we've seen the train come by John F. Wiley Stadium today. Back to pass is Schrenker. Quick pass over the middle. It's caught by Moretti. Moretti has about 8 yards, but that'll keep the clock moving as Moretti's tackled along the left hash.
Give Johnston credit for that tackle.
Schrenker's pass completed to Moretti.
Schrenker getting his guys to the line quickly, but trying to get the play call and make something happen without allowing a ton of time to roll off the clock as we approach 1 minute. Schrenker from the gun. 4 receiver set with Walker to his right. 2 guys to each side. A Spartan almost jumps offside. Schrenker dumping it deep downfield, intended for Moretti, but this pass is incomplete and out of bounds. 3rd down and 2 now for the Jackets after the incomplete pass. Clock stopped with 52 seconds left.
Schrenker definitely was looking for offsides as well. He looked to the referees for that call. the play before that, Cameron Brown also, I don't know if it was exactly when the snap was, or maybe a little early, but on the line for Case Western Reserve, they're really trying to jump that snap, and that last one I definitely think was offsides, but again, we can't change that call.
They're down and short. Schrenker and company operating. He dumps it off. It's going to be caught, and getting a first down for the Yellow Jackets is Alex Stoy. That'll stop the clock momentarily with the ball being spotted at the 38-yard line, but now the clock starts to run. And Schrenker again looks to the sideline for the call. 40 seconds left as Schrenker backs up into the shotgun. He takes the snap, looks downfield, wants to run it again, moves it forward inside the 30, now looking to get out of bounds, and he does so just outside the 20-yard line with 27 seconds left. Now, Paul, I'm going to bring something up here. The Yellow Jackets might want to consider trying to kick a field goal here to get within a touchdown and then try to get the onside kick. That's a possibility as well, because you need 2 scores regardless, and you need the onside kick regardless. I guess that's just one way to think of it, but clearly they're not following my mentality, so.
Yeah, that's why we're up here and they're down there, Mitch.
That's right. That's right. Just a thought. Food for thought. Schrenker to pass. Fires it, far side, incomplete. Moretti again the intended target, and Schrenker got blasted after the play, knocked down hard by the defensive front of Case Western. Second down and 10.
I believe that was Cameron Brown who came in hot against Schrenker, and Moretti was definitely open. Would have had to have hit him on the sidelines on the left side, so you're not putting in anywhere chance for Case to get an interception, but that would have been beautiful if Waynesburg would have executed that on the left side.
3 receivers right side for Schrenker, 1 to the left. Chad Walker stays out there as Schrenker's helper. Schrenker takes the snap. Big rush. Looks to get out of the pocket. Trying to scramble away. He does, and he falls to the ground just outside the 10-yard line, and the clock will stop. The Jackets need to get up to the line. It looks like they're going to try to spike it.
Schrenker on the keeper for
and now the clock starts to wind. 15 seconds, 14 seconds, and Schrenker spikes it with 12 seconds left on the clock from the 11-yard line.
And like you said, Mitch, earlier, this might be that time that they would want to kick it. They got pretty much almost the middle of the field, but they're not going to end up doing that. They're going to.
And you can get within 7 points if you do that. Then at that point you have 7 or 8 seconds. You can try for an onside kick and then get a Hail Mary if that all works out. Obviously that's wishful thinking, but the Yellow Jackets will keep the offense out there. Second down and 10. Schrenker back to throw. Looking downfield. Fires it far side. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. The Yellow Jackets get within a score anyway with 7 seconds left on the clock.
A huge catch by Cole Booth.
Touchdown.
And that's why we are up here, Mitch, because they did get the touchdown regardless, and they got points on the board regardless. And
now Ryle will go out there to kick the extra point. 7 seconds left on the clock. 27-24 is the score. And Waynesburg will try to get within 3. Ryle's extra point is up and through. It's 27-24.
Mitch, you have to think, only down by a field goal at the end of the first half, instead of electing to let Case Western rush their kicking unit onto the field, kick the ball under time pressure, but rather instead call a timeout with 13 seconds left, giving Case Western all the time that they would like to get nice and prepped for a kick. And they ultimately end up giving up those 3 points, going down 10 at half. A whole lot of what-ifs.
It also should be noted that Mike Ryle, back in the early part of this fourth quarter, missed a field goal. And if that was converted and all went to plan after that, this game would be tied. Right now, the Jackets special teams unit is on the football field on the near sideline talking about how to handle this onside kick attempt. Again, we talked about this earlier when the Yellow Jackets did recover an onside kick. It has to travel 10 yards. The kickoff will come from the 35-yard line on the Jacket side of the field.
Now, I don't know if you know the answer to this. Could a Case Western reserve player go in front of that 10 yards, touch it, and then still get recovered?
Yes.
Okay, just want to
If
make
the
sure.
Jackets touch the football first, it has to
No,
travel 10 yards.
Case Western reserve. They would touch it in front of the
and
10
they touched
yard.
it prematurely, it's free game. Absolutely.
Well, that's kind of what happened last time. They went past the 10 yards and hit a face of Case Western reserve Spartan.
The Jackets ready to roll on the right side. Here's the onside kick attempt. It's an awkward kick, and it's wrangled by a Case Western reserve Spartan. Colt Morgan retrieved it. The onside kick attempt from Ryle went a little bit astray. It went further back than I think a lot of the Jackets were anticipating. Case Western hops on top of the football, and with 6 seconds left, the Spartans are going to hold on here. And they'll simply send their offense out there to take one final knee. Good effort today by the Yellow Jackets, but they're going to come up short just a little bit. And out comes Drew Saxton and company to take a knee on top of the football. Thomas Strayer, the center, will try to have a clean snap to his quarterback. And it is a clean snap and a clean kneel down by Drew Saxton, the quarterback. And the ball game is over after the clock hits all zeros. Both teams head to midfield. And the Case Western Reserve Spartans are the President's Athletic Conference champions in football for 2019. They hold off the Yellow Jackets 27-24 and pick up a monumental win. Good effort by Waynesburg, just didn't have enough in the tank there, and a couple of plays didn't go the direction that Waynesburg wanted.
Definitely a big statement for Chris Smithley and the Yellow Jacket seniors and the likes of all the other squad out there for the Yellow Jackets. They put on a show for us. They put on a show for family, friends, and the crowd, and all the viewers here watching Waynesburg University Sports Network coverage of PAC football. And looking ahead to next week when Waynesburg University will take their Cross 79 rivals in Washington Jefferson, who's not had the year that they've had previously before at the top of the helm of the PAC. Waynesburg, with the efforts that they did today against the 15th ranked Case Western Reserve Spartans, there's some hope for next week what Waynesburg could potentially do to W&J. W&J did pick up a win today against St. Vincent, but only 6-3. Waynesburg's faced a lot of undefeated W&J teams before, and after their efforts today, I like seeing what Schrenker, Smithley, and company can do against the Presidents next week.
A lot of close calls for the Yellow Jackets and Case Western Reserve Spartans down the stretch. They struggled with St. Vincent a couple of weeks back, and they really struggled with the Yellow Jackets today at times. Waynesburg with a couple of interesting plays not going their way. Case Western Reserve had that kickoff returned for a touchdown to start the ball game, and they went up 7-0. Waynesburg responded after that with a field goal to make it 7-3. But that kickoff return for a touchdown, simply the difference maker, Paul, as of now, because the Yellow Jackets fell by 3, and that was a 7-point turnaround.
A lot of what-ifs, the kick return, the missed field goal, the field goal timeout, and you take a look at what Case Western has done the rest of the season. This is the closest game that Case Western Reserve has had. The one you mentioned against St. Vincent, that was an 8-point game. Against Geneva, that was a 7-point game. They also had another 8-point game against Westminster, but Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets, the closest team so far this season to being the undefeated Case Western Reserve Spartans on senior day here at John F. Wiley Stadium. It might have been those few extra trains coming through helping out Waynesburg, but nonetheless, a valiant effort for the Yellow Jackets, and it's been an absolute pleasure for the past 4 years covering Jacket football, whether it's been here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network with WCYJ-FM, or just being a fan of the team and riding with the Jackets. Hashtag Jacket Up.
And they almost pulled it out today, Paul. Almost. We're ever so close were the Yellow Jackets. Waynesburg, with the loss, will fall to 1-7 in PAC play. 1-8 overall, with the final regular season game coming up at Washington and Jefferson next Saturday. Case Western, with the win, becomes the President's Athletic Conference champion. They moved to 8-0 in PAC play. They're now 9-0 overall. Case Western will wrap up the regular season with a formality next weekend on the road at Carnegie Mellon in downtown Pittsburgh.
They also, because of being the PAC champions, they will get a automatic bid to the 2019 NCAA Division III championship.
And right now we have the trophy presentation on your screen right now. Case Western being awarded the President's Athletic Conference championship for football with this 3-point squeaker win tonight for the Yellow Jackets. And what's interesting about this is Case Western has to play CMU next week on the road. And if this one went a little bit differently and Case Western happened to lose today to the Jackets, the PAC championship would be on the line next weekend in Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon. So Case Western really evaded danger today with this huge, huge win on the road against Waynesburg.
You got to give credit to the coaching for Case Western Reserve. On that last drive offensively, they were doing just short dump passes, not trying to necessarily get into the end zone, just keep the plays coming, making sure the plays were in bounds, whether it was a rush attempt, whether it was a pass attempt. Case Western Reserve just ultimately had great coaching, not putting anything against Waynesburg defensively or Waynesburg coaching, but Case Western Reserve, that's why they're at the top of the PAC. That's why they just got the trophy. That's why they're undefeated. And you got to give credit not only to the talented players, but the coaching staff and everyone else who puts in the hours and work to make sure that they have the right play sets and ideas of what's to come for game time. The Jackets giving their last hurrah of the season at home. Again, because Washington Jefferson is so close, most likely you'll see a lot of Waynesburg fans at that game next week.
Ed DiOrio and Chris Smithley are approaching one another right now. They're close to the interview process, and it looks like we have them. Ed DiOrio down on the football field talking with Waynesburg Yellow Jacket head coach Chris Smithley after this tough 3-point loss today. Ed, what do you got for us?
Against one of the best teams in not only the PAC but the country in Division III football. Obviously, it was a 3-point deficit. Towards the end of that first half, Case was getting ready to set for a field goal, and they were kind of struggling, and you elected to take a timeout. Take me through your thought process on that and your reasoning behind the timeout.
We just wanted to take the timeout and talk to our guys about how big that play was in this game. It had nothing to do with, the freezing of their kicker or anything. That didn't have anything to do with it. We wanted to talk to our guys about how we were going to play that snap, and I mean, you can't take those timeouts, don't carry over. So we figured it would be a good idea to take that and just talk to our guys about how we wanted to play it.
No matter the final score, you guys did a lot of good things today. What kind of things do you want to take from this game and carry them over into your final game of the season at W&J and possibly get a win on the road? What do you guys have to carry from this game over to the next?
We just got to keep building. It's unfortunate that you only get 11 weeks with these guys. We get better every week. Today was, a good day. We played really good together as a team, and that's something that we've talked about a lot. It's this whole season we've been piecing it together. It's offense plays well, defense struggles. Defense plays really well, offense struggles. Have a hiccup in special teams that affects a game. I think that at the end of the day, we keep grinding on that and we keep practicing, the situations that we've been talking about with our guys, and when it comes together, and we played well together as a team. I'm proud of our guys. My heart hurts for these seniors. They've gone through more than anybody can imagine in 4 years of college football. I wish the results were better, but I'm so proud of them for how they play and how they've helped turn this program around.
Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You, Ed, and that'll wrap up our broadcast season for football, Paul. A good football season broadcast-wise, doing the best we can out here with our single-camera production for the Waynesburg University Sports Network. Pleasure being alongside you today, and we want to thank all the seniors that have helped us with the broadcast all year. Myself, you, Hugh O'Neill, our producer, Zach Schnegg helped out a good bit, Sam Hickson, Colin McLaughlin, Dakota Kiefer. I'm trying to remember
Nate
everybody
Westfall.
here. Nate Westfall, he's graduating a year early. I want to thank all of our guys that helped out with the broadcast today and have helped out all season long. Dylan Cleland, a big part of it, our camera operator today. Nate was helping out. Hugh O'Neill, our producer today. Drew Rhea, becoming accustomed to the spotting position, coming into today and helping out all season long.
Mitch, the point made across this whole broadcast is that Waynesburg has ties to the PAC championship the last 3 years. The past 3 years, a team has clinched the PAC championship against Waynesburg, and now 2 years in a row, the PAC championship celebration took place here at John F. Wiley Stadium. Unfortunately, Waynesburg just being on the other side of that spectrum, and Case Western Reserve becoming the PAC champions of the 2019 season.
Tough loss today for the Yellow Jackets. They'll be at Washington and Jefferson next week. You can catch that broadcast on WCYJ-FM. This wraps it up for our Woosen football coverage in 2019. We'll catch you on the other side of the year. We'll have 2020 men's and women's basketball broadcasts on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. For my broadcast partner, Paul Zalakar, our producer, Hugh O'Neill, camera operator Dylan Cleland, sideline reporter Ed DiOrio, and spotter Drew Rhea, I'm Mitch Montani signing off from John F. Wiley Stadium and repeating the final score. Case Western Reserve 27, Waynesburg University 24. And you watched it all live and here on the Waynesburg University Sports Network.